Hi, all. This is a last minute thing. I just decided that I'd try to do a live tonight. Somebody's asking me about it last week, and I said that I usually do a live on the third Saturday of the month. Uh-oh. Looks like my phone is dead. Oh, man. How do I do this? It's a stupid thing where, look at this. Hope you guys can see. It's this thing where it does that, and I forget how I got out of it last time. Binary thing, escape. How do I downloading somehow it got a virus on it, I think. Anyway, what I was going to talk about is adapting. Okay, like I've got to adapt. I don't remember how I got out of this last time. I don't know if I ran the phone out to nothing. I probably did. Don't remember. Cancels, restart phone, but I can't do that without. Let's see. Restart button and volume down and restart button for more than 7 seconds. Supposed to restart it and cancel that. And I think that's a virus. Anyway, what I was going to say is I put this as adapting to the landscape because I'm adapting to the landscape. I'm realizing what I can do at this place and what I'm going to grow next year. Hi, MMK. I haven't sent the thing yet. I'm thinking of what I'm going to do is I subscribed to this permaculture design magazine, and I'm going to send the new version instead of sending the spring one. It'll probably be the fall that I send whenever that comes. So be patient. It might be a little bit, but anyway, that's probably what I'll do is send the new version instead of the old one. It'll be more relevant, the fall one, right? So that's the thing. Thanks for the thumbs up. And because it took longer than I thought to send anyway, and I thought, well, I'm just getting it together this weekend, looking at addresses and stuff, and I thought, well, let me try to send the new one. Why send an older version, And anyway, yeah, I'm finding out what grows here, how well. I was thinking that I was trying to maximize the hotter part, but I'm realizing the things I'm growing want less heat. So that's what I'm finding out. And I'm realizing I'm growing all kinds of tiny onions. So I'm going to try to learn more about growing onions for next year and whatever else I could grow. But tomatoes are almost a bust. I don't know if that's because of the heat too. Maybe they're in too much heat here. But also, I only water once a week, so that's a factor. But I'm not going to hook up some kind of automatic watering. I want to have a feel for it. I want to water it myself. So now, whether I go to 2 days a week watering deep, or 2 days, with the same amount of water, split between 2 days, I don't know, but maybe something like that. And the onions similar. Maybe I'll do something similar next year. And I like the onions I grew. They're very delicious, very sweet. But the problem is that they're just so small. So if I can increase the size of those a little bit. And the beets also. I'm going to try growing the beets in more shade. But also I'm going to try to grow them in 6-packs or some format and then transplant them into the garden. Hi, Glenn. I was just saying I'm going to send those things later. And I think I'll send the fall version of that magazine to the winners because the spring is not so relevant. And I just resubscribed, so it might be a few weeks or something, and then I'll send that stuff out. And I was saying how I'm adapting to seeing how things grow here and changing my mind on some things that what I'm going to have in the garden. in the front, there's a bunch of stuff that died. And I'm going to change up what I do. Make it kind of a learning front yard too, not just for edible, but I thought, I got a lot of responses on my artichoke video, so I'm going to try to grow those here for to look at, just as a teaching tool to see them growing. Hi, aloha. I just posted the link. If you want to get on the panel, you can. That goes for you too, Glenn or MMK. If you want to get on the panel, click the link. You're always welcome to come on the panel. It's more interesting with somebody on the panel for sure. And yeah, hi, Tutu. This is everybody. This is Tutu Signs, Aloha Food Forest. She's got a really good channel. Check her out. She's got some good content. And anyhow, if she wants to come on the panel and talk, she can, but I don't know. She's been kind of camera shy lately, so. But yeah, check out her channel. I like what she's got going. She's in California also. Another one on the Blessed Coast like me. And she's in SoCal though, San Diego area, I believe. So anyway, she's got a good thing going. Trying to inspire people in the permaculture way. How to Garden Glenn is into the permaculture thing too. But he's in Florida. And who else? Dan Permaculture Food Forest. I follow him. He's in Florida. He's doing the permaculture thing. So here she is. This is welcome to Signs of Aloha Food Forest.
Oh, aloha, Ron. Thank you so much for having this live stream and for all you do. It's such a fun offering that you make, sharing all of your stories and making a live show. You're so brave. I've never even done this, so
Oh well,
be here.
It's just an evolution for me. I mean, I was just thinking today. People think that I was probably just someone that told stories all the time, but I was a really shy kid. So this is a long way from where I started out at. So I could have done this, 10, 12, 20 years ago or something. So it's just, you just have to try things and see how they go.
Yes, absolutely. That's great wisdom. And it's fun to see how you can evolve, right? From being a shy person, then to try something new, even though it's daunting at first.
I had video of me when I was like 5, 6, and then 15 and 25 and all that, and I could really wow, that would have really been
exactly.
We didn't have them advantages then. My parents barely took movies because I'm number 6, so they're fairly busy.
Oh yes, that's funny. I'm number 5 out of 6, so big family.
Okay. Wow, yeah, so we know. It's like the team coming in,
Yes. Yeah.
But
you handle it so well. Like I watched the live stream from when I wasn't there and you were so cool. You're just giving some pieces of wisdom, the way life goes and handling it so nicely.
I just did this wrong. I was trying to do I clicked wrong or something. Dang it. Let me get it back to what you can do when you have somebody on. If you click on the right thing, it'll make them, no, the wrong one again. I'm kind of forgetting how to do it because I don't do it as often, but you can put them front and center.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So you can say, for example, I did it wrong again. They're singing or whatever. They can be it can be on them.
Wow, that's cool.
Don't remember how to do it now. I'm clicking on the thing, it keeps making me, but that's not what I was trying to do. Maybe if I go, but yeah, so there's different ways like this screen, and then there's that screen. I don't know which one's better. One is more wide and one's more closer.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of little things you could do like that. You could maybe I'm not sure, but there's all
Yeah,
StreamYard has all these things. I'm not some, like like
I
somebody.
like this configuration. I like being able to see you too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it seems like it used to be different when I did the other two. That one, it seemed like it was still close together somehow before. So I think something changed in the programming.
Oh, maybe my camera angle. That's what it is. I was holding the camera portrait, not landscape.
Oh, see?
There we go.
It's
Now we
all
know.
related. But yeah, I
Fun.
like your channel. So that's why I said, yeah, yeah, come up. I mean, I like all the channels that come by. Glenn has
Yes.
another good thing going. I have yet to get Dan on here, but Dan has a really, he's in tropical climate, but I mean, he's got a really good thing. He started with all lawn grass, and he's just got crazy food forest stuff going on.
Oh, isn't that exciting? I love it.
Yeah, and especially being he didn't do anything in this until like a couple years ago, and he went and moved to Florida to get away from, I guess, like a high stress job, and then he found out about it. He just kind of fell into it. It was really cool.
Wow, that's so great. Oh my goodness. I love hearing the stories of so many people. It's like sweeping the world.
Yeah,
Young
and somehow
and
there's
old.
either it's catching on or the people are getting more vocal that are doing it.
Yeah, but either way, even our words are like seeds. When we plant our words, they go into people's ears and into their brains, and then they grow.
That's
So,
true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It might take a while. That's true. Sometimes you plant the seed, and the soil's not ready yet.
absolutely.
I've had people tell me things, and then I had to go the right process of life before it took hold. So it's like,
Yes, it's funny. You can hear it one time and it doesn't really mean anything. You hear it again, and then all of a sudden it dawns on you the depth of that. Right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like you have to compost some things in between of your life to make it happen somehow. I'm
Yes.
thinking
Oh
now,
my gosh, that's a good analogy.
that's if I knew how to make money off analogy, I'd have probably been richer than Bezos right now. But anyway, what
Well, you
other
could
guy
start
loses
by
half of
writing them down.
everything to his ex-wife and then still is the richest guy around? It's like
Yes, it just keeps coming. The money just keeps flowing.
crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another. I'm not, like this. I don't try to figure out how much it costs me to raise things because I don't really think it's any cheaper necessarily, but it's better food.
Absolutely. And I love that we're all improving our soil. And when we're improving our soil and providing habitat for wildlife, that's another aspect of, growing food for
Yeah.
ourselves
I've been
and them.
growing trees in half barrels, and I think the deer have been having a good time with them.
Yeah,
They've been
they're
loving it.
tricky.
There was one night I came here at midnight, about midnight or 2 or something, and there was a deer with big antlers, and coming out of my driveway.
Wow.
So he was chewing on something, and a lot of them I don't have protected because I just stuck them in kind of. I was running low on time, and I just never got back to putting the cage around them, so the tips aren't getting any bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I
They're
think
getting
they're grazing.
pruned like
They're,
from the
yeah,
deer.
they're browsing it, but they were just like bare root trees, most of them, so they haven't had a chance to really grow much.
Oh, yeah. Well, Paul Gauchi says that when you prune a tree, it stimulates the root growth. So maybe you're getting stronger roots.
Those half barrels are probably full of root right now.
Wow, that's
Some
great.
of them I have plans to go in the back. I have some fruitless mulberry, and I'm trying to figure the one on the edge was never that great. So I'm going to try to make a succession plant of fruiting mulberry. I
Oh,
mean, it's
nice.
been there 40 years, so it's going to take a while for that to get to size where I want to start maybe slowly cutting back the other one.
Yes. I wonder.
It has great shade, and it's like having air conditioning for the house. So I don't want
Oh
to just
yeah,
pop it out. It'll be,
absolutely.
it's one of those.
Yes. Yeah. And did you plant, or you're going to plant that one to get the shade?
I'm going to
Already
plant
did?
it in the shade of the fruitless mulberry,
Oh
and
yeah.
then I want
Oh, that's
to
a great
put
idea.
there. I have a gumi tree I want to put there for the nitrogen to help boost it,
Nice. That's
and
so fun. Good
it's
for you.
it's an experiment. I haven't done it
Yes.
in the backyard. That's horrible, but nobody has seen it yet hardly from the YouTube.
Well, I think that was the very first. I know you said experiment a lot, and I so agree 100%. That was the very first thing I started with, is just like trying things out and then observing and
Mhm.
then writing things down. And one of the things that you're doing with your blog, that it helps you remember, like you
Yeah,
taking the video, and that's how it was that year, and what you were thinking. It's so cool to be recording all of it.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. And as you put up more video too, it'll be like that. Well, you're kind
Hmm.
of at a really good stage of harvesting things in your yard though already, huh? You put in a few
Well,
years of work.
yes, I was so blessed to move to a house that's 60 years old. It was 50 years old when I moved here, and there were fruit and nut trees that were that old already.
Oh, cool.
So that is how. And then I started just well, I've always loved gardening and fruit and trees. So when I found this old house, and it was during that downturn in the market, it was
Uh-huh.
such an opportunity. It was like such a gift. All of the bad stuff that happened turned out. I got to move here and live with these trees that were fruiting and nutting. I didn't even know there's like a pecan tree. I didn't even know what that was when I got here. And it was just living down at the back with no care,
Oh,
and
wow.
would
See?
still put out pecans. And the person that lived there before me didn't even know what it was or take care of it. So that all of this experience is what led me into the food forest, because I realized this food forest was already like a community that was growing almost without human help, because
Yeah,
those trees were so old.
I,
But
I, I
what's
think you're
cool is
right.
there were fruit and nut trees, not
By the
just.
way, hi Peanuts Habit. Thanks for coming. Uh, yeah, you know what I'm realizing? It probably sounds kooky, but the gardeners will understand. It seems like we have to kind of be accepted into the area by the landscape, the trees and the creatures. That's what it seems like to me. It kind of surprised
Wow.
me. It's like kind of have to be accepted, and you have to
Wow.
kind of find your niche to where you fit in.
Wow, that's such an interesting observation. Yeah. Yes, and it's like you become part of their community, right?
Yeah,
And you work with them and
exactly.
respect
It's
it.
not this thing where it's just yours and you. No, something's already there.
Exactly. Yes.
And they kind of
Yes.
decide what's going to make it and what doesn't too, because you could have some gopher digging everything up, and I have gophers in the back, but they haven't dug up the mulberry. I mean, it's been there 40 some years. So I'm hoping that they don't mess with mulberry.
Yes.
And if they don't tear anything up, they can keep filling the soil if they want. If they don't tear anything up,
Yes.
they don't really want.
Mm-hmm. Because they
Because
do fluff up the soil.
they're like little rototiller.
Yes.
We have heavy clay soil. It gets like concrete. Well, they can tear that up into little bits. So I
We
wish I
have
could
the
hire
same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
a
Oh my gosh, they're so cute too when they come out and look at you. Like we've had them just come out and look at us with a twinkle in their eyes, like, "Hi, I'm here helping." It really feels like they're excited about the work they do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is the house I grew up in. We didn't deal with them too much. I think my parents were scared we'd catch something off them or whatever. My dad would shoot them with a 22.
Oh yeah.
But now I've noticed they're coming back. He hadn't shot them in probably 20 years, but
Mhm.
they're starting to come back in the back where at one point there was a lawn under those trees, and then it was he has kind of a deck, and just like decayed granite he put down
Oh, yes.
stuff from growing. But then I think he oversprayed with like Roundup and stuff, because I know he had that and he'd spray it. So
Oh, yeah.
it's so scary, but I think
Yes.
it's trying to work its way out, and maybe with the tree it won't affect it as much.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's
I
cool.
wonder if, like, when you have the wood chips and they start getting the fungi web, if that might help disintegrate the Roundup. I'm
Yeah, the
just throwing
glyphosate.
that out there as a random thought because they can eat radiation.
Yeah, I know. I went to a uh I'm really at a loss for the big words right now. Myco remediation seminar with
Oh,
Paul Stamets
wow.
in Olympia, Washington, probably about 10 years ago now. There's a
Awesome.
micro remediation and micro restoration, and before that, the one I had to take was one that was, I think, just propagation of mushrooms, like in a lab or something. They wanted you to take a whole, but
Oh, yes.
so
Oh,
many
that's
years
so cool.
later,
You got to do
they
that.
said,
I saw that course. I
when
thought
they
that
did
was
the micro remediation one, they were like, well, we want you to have taken this other one. They didn't have that one at first, I think. So then I was like, well, I took that one, so I went up there for a couple of days to Olympia, Washington. It was neat. I'm not going to say I remember everything, but it was good. And I was supporting one of the leading mycologists by doing it too. So I like to do things like that. Take a
Oh,
PDC and support some places starting their permaculture training thing, and then I learn it again, and eat the organic food with people for a couple weeks, and then I go home.
that sounds wonderful. And the people that you meet, you probably are still friends with.
No,
No.
the thing is, I have never been able to maintain anything with any of them. That's the weirdest thing. But everybody divides back up and goes into their own little, wherever they came from, and then I thought the last one, I thought I had high hopes because there's a bunch of people from California, but it just never turned out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure, look,
I've
I'm
had that happen too. Like, but
not
you're almost like
necessarily.
best friends when you're there. You're really
Yeah,
good friends while you're there together.
you have the best time with people you'll never talk to again in your life.
Exactly.
Because you go this thing, it's like you're really close for a couple weeks, and then everybody goes to the ends of the earth.
Yes. Yes. I've
But
had that
I
happen a
probably
lot.
could
But
have went and visited some of them by now, and I haven't either. So that's
yeah. Well, it's been a crazy time
yeah,
for a
especially
couple
now.
of years. We have an excuse.
Yeah, exactly. That interrupted everything for me.
Yes.
The guy just was sick. He was at Sunburst. There's a community called, actually, it's probably closer to your area. I think it might be closer to San Diego. Sunburst Community. It's
Hmm.
like a partially religious, organic, and kind of a sustainable
Oh.
kind of community.
Is that,
Or
are
I
they
think
related to the Yellow Deli? I'm sorry.
it's by Lompoc, I think. Is that by San Diego?
Oh, yeah. That is farther north than we are, but that sounds so interesting. Are they related to the Yellow Deli people? Do you know? Or maybe
They
not.
were associated with some kind of a store, but they were talking about giving that up when the guy took the PDC because it was getting where they couldn't manage it all or something.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that was
Sunburst. I'll have to look for that.
the one, but yeah, the one guy had a stroke or something. I had heard recently, but pretty good guy.
Oh,
Yeah, they were
yeah.
good.
Oh,
You always the trouble with a PDC too is we have these conflicts that are kind of meaningless, but at the time you're kind of some of the people you aren't getting really along with so well, but probably in the regular world you would, so then
oh,
later you're thinking, these some of them people I didn't get along with, right? So I have that stuck in my head,
oh,
so I
yeah.
just want to go back and see their thing. But the one guy, Sean, Fennel was from New York originally, and he kind of needed stress and all this, and came out here and came to that. And they were trying to reinvigorate their community even more with a permaculture and make it more regenerative and all this stuff. So they took him, and I can't think of the other guy's name, took a PDC at Quail Springs.
Wow. Is
So
that like Jeff Lawton's course?
No, it's Warren Brush and a host of other people I can't think of the name of right now.
Uh-huh.
They're out in the desert of Maricopa, California.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's
Well,
by
that's
that
great.
forest. It isn't really a forest. You go by there, it don't look like any kind of a forest. I can't think of the name of it right now. I'm at loss for terms today for some reason. The heck is the name of it?
Life is that way, though. We have
Yeah,
our
you
age
go down
too.
there. And at one time, I think it was forest. They were explaining how it they had some kind of refinery or something there that they burned. They actually smelter in the area that burned so many acres of wood a day to keep it going. So I think they probably got permits to just basically cut all the wood, and because if you're burning through acres a day, I can't think of the name of the so-called forest. This is like you see in MASH. It looks like
With
deserted
nothing.
hills with a couple pieces of shrub on it.
Wow.
And it's like, oh yeah, forest. So it informs you when you look on a map and it says such and such national forest. Doesn't necessarily mean there's anything there. We're always
yes, that's true.
that's a nice green spot by the name, and look there. Where's the forest?
Yeah, that's sad.
But
Yeah, I heard too that there was one administration where like the person, the Homeland Security, not Homeland Security, but like it was a long time ago, 100 years ago, but his vision was to cut down all the trees so that we could grow agriculture across the whole nation. And I think they said that there used to be so many trees, a squirrel could crawl all the way without touching the ground. But that was part of their, like what they believed needed to happen too, is cutting these trees down
right,
to grow things.
because they got in the way. Apparently, the like in the Midwest, there was giant forests that they did cut down to make fields.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't, it blows my mind. It's like, what? They said, oh yeah, it was real. I think it was like Ohio and stuff. It was all forested.
Wow.
I had
Yeah.
no idea, but anyway, that's probably won't be able to bring that back. But
Right.
yeah, it's like, we could do little bits at the edges and accomplish a lot. Just the thing of using the edge.
Oh,
The
yes.
edge of 1,000-acre, growing weed or whatever, if they did a little edge planting all the way around the perimeter, that'd be a lot of good things going on,
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
and just go to not spraying noxious chemicals,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why, it's like, look, we're doing our bit by growing some of our own food too, because it's encouraging and it's all this. And plus it's the tiny onions I grew are a lot better than anything I can buy.
Absolutely. And you know that they're grown in your soil, so you feel good that you're enriching your soil.
Yeah, exactly. I bought the soil, but it's local. It was made locally, and anyway, yeah, it's still better than.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. This whole people tend to think that everything's 100% or nothing. No, we can improve by degrees.
Absolutely.
Even improving the percentage. I told people this years ago. I said, look, that's when I used to get sick a couple times a year at least. I'd get bronchial issues, and I said, look, I'd like to improve my health by 1 or 2%. They're like, what? I said, well, look, that's 1% is about 4 days out of the year.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing. 2 is like, 7.5 days or something a year. So that small percentages add up. That's,
Yes. And you're headed in the right direction. You're not going backwards. you're making small forward movement.
Yeah, and any success, if you get 0.5% success, then you just try to build on it the next year. I grow all these
Absolutely.
tiny onions, so next year I'm hoping to grow them a little bit bigger. They're
Yes.
okay and small, but if I can grow them to, old silver dollar size, I'd be really happy instead of like quarter or 50-cent piece. The big ones
Yes.
might be 50-cent piece in the middle.
Hmm.
But they were great, and I thought, wow, that was a success. So I ordered a lot more onion seed,
Oh, that's great. Oh my goodness.
and I
And
had
another thing
seeds
I've been
that were
doing too is
ordered.
throwing, like, if I find an onion that I like, I'll cut off like the bottom and with the roots and put it out in the yard and see if
Mhm.
it'll grow. And a lot of times they will. They'll just start growing out the top, and then they could grow to seed. Um,
Yeah,
but
exactly, and just see what happens.
yeah, yeah. Let them
I
be a
think
little
it takes a
wild.
couple of years to grow all the way back. There's a lady in the Washington, I think, that Masilla learned to grow. She's talked about veggie scraps and growing things with veggie scraps. I haven't had a lot of luck with it, probably because I put it in a cup and I forget about it, and about 2 weeks later, it's like it smells horrible.
Oh yeah, I've had that happen a lot.
So
Yep.
but my methods don't always work for those kind of things, but she talks about doing things like that. And that's what I did with my sweet potatoes. I had sweet potatoes and they were getting where they're really thin and long. So I actually bought some of them specifically just to try to grow sweet potato. And I stuck
Great.
them in and
How's
they
it going?
were looking good. I've actually got too many in the half barrel, but I always do that. So I'll have to separate them out and maybe
That's a
put one.
good way to grow potatoes, though, in a barrel. Like, I have a neighbor that grows them in like a 33-gallon trash can, and she gets fantastic crops.
Yeah, and then you just keep adding soil, right?
Yes.
And when you harvest, you just shake them all out.
Yes. And it's incredible. And then she has the problem of how to store them. And so she learned, like, you have to wrap them in paper and put them in some place in the dark garage or something like that. But yeah, that's how successful it can be growing in those containers where the soil's loose. Like, if I try to grow it in our clay soil, they stay small
My mom grew
because
some when I was a kid.
they can't
I
stand them.
can picture them. They were small. Yeah,
Yeah.
potatoes are about this big and they're all twisted and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
We probably have the same heavy clay soil. It's like, oh, this.
Mine's Battleship Gray. What color's yours?
Well, you know what? You're right. It is kind of a gray in the summer. Yeah, yeah. It's a gray. Yeah, yeah. I would call it more of a gray now. Yeah.
Mm.
And I thought I was composting and I was going to keep this composting pit method going, but I never was able to get some wood chips because of my time in being here and all this. So, long story short, it started getting hot out. I had to give up the ghost with it because the soil got too hard.
Oh yeah, it gets like a rock, right?
And something was turning it over. So I'd put the paper plates and disposable forks and stuff in there, and they'd all end up on top. So something was turning it over, eating what I was putting in, I think. And I don't know if
Oh,
it's the little wild rabbits that are around or what, but something was eating all the stuff and it wasn't composting, so it wasn't improving it that much. And then,
mhm.
the all it looked like I dumped garbage out there.
Oh
And
yeah,
then the soil got so hard that I was like, oh, I'm giving this up for a while until I get wood chips.
yeah. Another thing that I do is, like, if I prune something, you could just, like, I sometimes I'll just strip the leaves off of it and throw the leaves down. Or if you have a mower, you could mow over it and then use that for instead of wood chips,
That's a good idea.
a little clipping. Even before I had a mower, I would just kind of clip it up a little bit and chop and drop, chop and drop.
Somebody, I think Peanuts Abbott said hello. I should put the comments up on the screen all the time, and that makes it easier. It's hard for me to try to
Hello,
read
Penis Habit. Oh
the
my
comment
goodness.
section. That's How to Garden is Glenn.
It's getting there slowly. Yes. That's a beautiful logo.
Yeah, he's got a cool one. Tree.
Mhm. Yeah.
Glenn has some good things going. He's growing lychee trees and all this kind of stuff.
Nice.
I wish I was going to put an area to go more tropical, and I'm not sure now because we're in the similar climate zone, but there's variations. It's not really tropical in California so much. So
Mhm.
I was going
Yeah.
to maybe one day. I don't know, but
A little
it's
more
not
dry.
as soon as I thought. I was trying to maximize the heat. I found out I have to maximize the shade.
Yes.
And
That's
make
what
the
I've been
shade
doing
for
too.
it,
It's so hot
you know?
lately.
And especially, you get the heat island effect. There's all this pavement around, and as the climate kind of fluctuates too more now, and it's not as windy as when I was a kid here, then it changes everything. So they
Yes.
just gotta adapt. That's what I'm saying, adapt too.
Exactly. Adapt. Yes. Observe and adapt. Yes.
I've totally changed what I was going to do in the front yard. I'm thinking to put some artichoke for the learning opportunity. So it comes up like, what is that with that big bloom? It's artichoke. And some other like some yarrow. And then I want to put some bamboo to kind of make some privacy. And I forget what else. I wrote it down one day. I was at work and I was coming up concocting all this idea. And I wrote in this book that wasn't very interesting, basically, in the blank page.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
like
got
to
a
do
free
that
book
too.
about like how networking, how all the computer networks and stuff work. And you know what? I have the basic concept. It was too much to try to read through, and I got it for free. So I was writing something that they have the blank pages in there,
Oh, yeah.
making kind of a design for the front.
Oh, that's fun. Because when
And
it's a blank page, you can draw as well.
And really, I could draw over where it's written to because it's very bland to read. I'm kind of a concept person. Once I get the main theme, I'm good. I don't need every detail.
Mm-hmm.
That might contrast with permaculture a little bit, but it's like I get the main theme. Okay,
Yes.
why read
And that
every
gives you
word?
the chance to do a first step towards that theme.
Yeah,
Right?
and I get bored with it. Whether or not it's helpful in any other way, it's helpful to my mentality of like, oh no, this is too much. Even with videos, sometimes they're long-winded, so I just skip ahead to like the end or somewhere where they get to the point.
Oh, yes. Time is short.
So like yeah. Oh wow, this is all intro. Skip a little bit, keep skipping in to see. And sometimes if you go in the comments, if it's really long-winded, people say, "Oh well, at 8 minutes or whatever is the key," and then you just go to that.
Yes. I've definitely taken advantage of that. That's funny. Yeah. That's fun.
And that's kind of why I like to make shorter videos too, because I want to make something that I would want to watch.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I think that's why those 1 minute shorts are so popular now because you can get a little bite of information when you're in a hurry.
Yeah. The irony though, my first few videos were like less than a minute, and then I had to adapt to make them longer. And now everybody's going to the shorts 5 years later. I'm like, what? I adapted to make them longer because everybody's
Yes.
10, 15, all this minute long. And I guess YouTube values that more if it's over 10 minutes. I have a hard time going over 10 minutes. That's a struggle. I cut out footage that is just excess all the time. I'm like the Cliff Note of Permaculture channel, like I don't want to say something 10 times.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I get
But
it.
you
You
know,
have a
in
lot of
YouTube,
variety of different topics too, and
well,
that's fun.
I
You have a
figure I can cover everything because permaculture covers everything.
It does. It covers attitude,
And especially being
habits.
a native Pacific, I can go to Hawaii and video waves.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that one. That's so fun.
And
Yeah.
oh, hi, Howie. Howie at Food Forest Permaculture's here. He lives in, remind me, Howie, Canada somewhere, I think Vancouver Island.
Oh,
He was a great help. I was talking about this. How could I like do a Zoom thing and video it and have people on, and he told me about StreamYard probably a
oh
year ago,
wow. Nice.
and that's what
That's a
got me
lovely
involved.
logo too. I think I've seen your channel because I love to haunt the YouTube food forest stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, and there's more all the time. A good one too is Perma Pastures Farm. This guy's
Oh,
doing it in a real way. Billy and William and Michelle. Billy
nice.
seems to be the one that he's really good at talking about it, and he explains it, and he'll come up with he'll improve ideas like the chicken tractor and all this kind of stuff, and it's good and it's entertaining.
Oh, that's
Uh,
wonderful. Yeah,
they
some
have
people
some
have
wise
such a good
words.
presence online too. They make it fun and funny.
Yeah, and he has all these phrases that probably real young people don't know what the heck he's talking about, but I relate to it. He's about my age. I guess around our age, we're about the same. So
Yeah.
yeah, so he's like he says he'll be like William with carved spoons and stuff. He's like, well, I don't know if I'm hoping somebody will say like they're interested in buying some carved spoons, and somebody I guess in the comments said, yeah. And he says, okay, yeah, give him more reason to loaf. He says, I've been working like a runaway slave, and he's sitting there loafing, making a spoon. He use phrases like that, and it just cracks me up. And
That sounds so fun.
yeah, he makes his channel really fun, and he's making bone sauce that he sells to keep the deer and stuff away, and
Awesome.
all that. He's
It's
I
really
mean,
nice to be able to offer a product like that because it's one thing to tell people what they can do, but people often want a product. So I think that would be like a good next step,
yeah,
if you have
I
a
think so.
something that you could
I don't
like.
think I have the ability because it's just my job is crazy, and then
Oh, I get it.
I'm
I
having
totally
trouble
get it.
keeping up. People are like, well, you could do this and you could do that. And yeah, I could if I had like three more of me. But
Yes. Yes. I know. I feel the same way. But
I always
sometimes
think
just
like,
the
oh yeah,
idea.
I was going to try to have some shirts made up. Well, then the person just got back to me, and I'm thinking, I'm always thinking like a month ahead of what I can do, at least. At
Mhm.
times, it's been a year. It's like I don't get to it for like another year because all these other things. I got a car that broke down. I was supposed to get someone to work on, and I mean,
Mhm. But
you
the
know,
idea is still there. It could
yeah.
still come to
Eventually,
fruition.
it's like the new things go way at the back of you know, the back of the
Mhm.
line. It's like,
Mhm.
wow, it just anyway. That's why I like to find shortcuts too, because we're all busy and we'll never
Yeah.
get to everything, but some things we gotta kind of try to get done. So
Yes. Yeah. We have to kind of do it in scattered bits, don't we? Like a little of
yeah,
this, a little of that.
yeah, it's kind of a holistic thing. It's
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. Oh, the other word. There's a concept of kind of holistic where they have all these say you have all these dots, and eventually it just becomes a I can't think of what they call that,
Oh.
but I think like that. It's kind of like things come together for me like that. It's kind of a holistic hologram, like a hologram.
Oh, I
Yeah,
get it. I get what you're saying. Like you put out a bunch of the dots and it becomes a whole.
yeah, eventually it just turns into like, wow. But sometimes I work on this little dot and that little dot and that little dot, and I don't know when it's going to become this whole picture.
Yes. Oh, that's been my experience for sure too. And
Yeah,
it
it's
as long as you keep having those thoughts and ideas and kind of putting them down on paper, maybe speaking them, they sort of stay around you, and eventually the right time
yeah.
will come.
A lot of times I can find a way to combine it with something else.
Yeah.
It's like this whole thing. I was going to visit my parents' headstone, I guess you should say. So I'm like, these geraniums are growing. I pick some of them. I'm not going clear to the store and then have to, chop them back too and all that. No, I just picked them out of the yard.
Oh,
I like it.
yeah. I was thinking they probably like that better because it's
Yeah,
from your yard. It's from their yard, your yard, right?
yeah, exactly. So it's like I'm always looking for ways to combine things like that too. Permaculture calls stacking functions.
Yes.
And there's this principle, the least amount of change for the greatest amount of good. So those are the best parts. All
I
this,
love it.
I get it that people like to compost. I'm not turning compost. It's going to be in
Mhm.
a pit and throw wood chips on top.
That's
I
how I do it.
I
I
didn't like it from
dig
the
a
first
like a
time
pot.
somebody was showing it to me. It's like, oh no, that's not for me. That's
Yeah.
I took a hort class in 2000, no, 96, I think. And this guy is digging up, and we're in the class, we're having to turn this compost, and I'm thinking, I'll never do this again. This is, and then we double dug part of it. I definitely will never do that again. I will never double dig a garden unless I have a ditch witch here. Ditch witch is like a big chainsaw that digs a ditch for you.
Yes. Yes.
If I have that, I'll
Did
double
you
dig.
take that at a community college? Because I took a class like that at a community college where we did the same thing. We double dug our little community garden.
Yeah. Yeah, we had an obsessed part-time community college teacher that that was his thing. I found
That's
out
fun.
though that some things propagate in the compost pile, so that's cool.
Yes. Well, I tried a compost pile here, like according to Jeff Lawton's way, but I found out our climate is so dry
Hmm.
that it takes a lot of, watering it over and over to keep it moist, and it doesn't decompose well when it's very dry. Even though I covered it with a big ugly blue tarp, it
Huh.
still took 18 months. And so now I just dig a hole, like 5 gallon bucket. I'll fill a 5 gallon bucket with dirt or chunks of clay, and that's where I throw my kitchen stuff for the time until I fill it up, and add leaves on top of it, and then kind of leave it there. And then in a year or so, it's a nice spot for planting.
See, that's my thing. I mean, if I knew somebody that worked at one of these drilling companies and would just drill a big pier hole, like a 20-foot deep, I would just keep chucking everything in
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm, I only have so much energy. I'm not going to use it to turn over a compost pile. If it has to be that, I'll starve. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I watch this guy. Hey, we turn this pile and makes it great, but I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not for me. So that's just my take. Maybe I'm a little lazy, but yeah, that's the way it is. Hi,
Well,
Otto.
you have to make your life as comfortable as possible too. Otherwise, why live it, right? I mean, if you
Yeah,
hate what you're doing, it does make sense.
and I mean, I have to conduct the rest of my life. So
Mm-hmm.
if I
Yeah,
spend all my energy doing compost, I'm too tired to go to work. How does that help me?
right.
Because I can't just literally live off the garden. I don't think I'll. For one thing, I don't want to just be in the garden all the time. I'm spoiled. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. There's more things out there.
Yes.
I like it. It's great and all that, but at some point, it's not going to be my only thing. I want, even if it's just watching something on the computer or TV or whatever, I want to do something different sometimes. So I,
Mm-hmm.
at least I realize my own failings or whatever in that. It's like I have to do what fits me.
Absolutely. I
I'm
feel the same
wondering if
way.
maybe having a worm bin might be the best, actually. If I could be here more often and feed the worm bin
Hmm.
and do that, because then you have those worm castings are supposed to be the best. This lady learned to grow swears by them. Absolutely
Yeah.
swears by worm
Have you
castings.
seen those worm towers that would maybe be kind of like a little compromise where it's like you put a big pipe sort of halfway in the ground and you put your kitchen waste in there and the worms come up from underneath and eat it inside that pipe. Worm tower.
No, I hadn't heard of that one. I'll write that down.
That
Look
might
it
be
up.
a nice in between.
More and more now that I said it out there, I'd like to find somebody to drill a couple of them 20-foot pier holes and just throw everything in there.
Yeah.
My brother had a house he built that was kind of on a hill, and they had to drill holes like 20 and 21 feet deep, like
The
2
only thing
feet
is you don't want to
around
fall in it.
per
You got to
pier
make it.
hole. Oh, that'd be ultimate at getting rid of, food waste. Don't fall in though.
Yes.
I better leave a tall ladder next to it just in case.
That's
Come
funny.
crawling out a year later. What happened to you? I fell down there. Nobody came to get me. But yeah, maybe that worm tower, something like that, because our soil's so hard. And the other times it's too wet. It's gummy like, so it's
Hmm. Yeah.
some of it was turned into good soil a little bit before it got, a month later it started getting so warm out that it turned to cement again.
Oh yeah. Does your clay crack in the summertime?
It will, yeah. We used to have cracks like this wide in the ground when I
That's
was a
what we
kid.
have too.
And on the one side there was a field and we had a horse. So where the horse went in the winter, oh, you could break an ankle in there in the summer because it made those marks and they stayed.
Oh yeah.
It
Wow.
made those hoof marks, right? So then you try walking and there's not flat. And later the horse wouldn't walk over there and break it up either. She had a spot where she'd run and it was all nice and flat and broken down. The other spots, I guess she avoided or walked gingerly through. You walk in
Mm,
there, you could break an ankle. It was,
yeah.
it was like concrete.
Wow. Yeah.
And you can walk in there in the winter, you get your boots stuck, and then you basically step in the mud because the rubber boot gets stuck in the mud, and you go to step and you pull your foot out.
Yeah. It has suction. It's holding onto your boot. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
Crazy, but it's funny that I lived around here so long, but it wasn't in the sense of trying to grow things as much. So I'm kind of relearning.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought I knew this place,
Good.
but I'm realizing now that I didn't in the same way.
Well, now that you're on your own there, it's like all
Yeah,
you.
and I'm realizing like sometimes it gets more foggy and it's kind of coastal in a way. We're not on the coast, we're by the bay kind of, but
Mhm.
we're blocked by some hills, but then we kind of get that coastal type of weather sometimes. And I thought,
That's
I'm
nice.
gonna amend some of my plans. Yeah, the coastal time is nice because the other time it's hot.
Hmm.
It's kind of too hot with the pavement and
Hmm.
I had the pavement
Yeah.
blocked off with these half barrels, and I was going to leave it blocked off because I have a curved driveway. But now I'm amending that. I'm opening it up because I thought, well, it'd be handy to have the flow through driveway, and also they were too hot. The plants over there.
Hmm.
Oh, trying to
Yeah.
think if I want to put like a canopy or something. I like the thing of an arbor and a vine, but we got to think rodents too. And I don't want rodents having easy access to wanting to be up there and then jump on and try to find a way in the house through the roof. So
Yes. Yes.
that's
Well, I
what
was
people
watching
say.
Paul Gauchi live today. You know Paul Gauchi from Back to Eden? He was live on.
Vaguely. I'll have to
Sorry?
check that out, Glenn. I've heard of him, Paul Galchi, but some reason I don't know why I never checked him out much. There's a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
you
You
follow a
should check
lot
out.
called I think it's the Garden Channel with James Prigioni
Oh
from
yeah,
the East Coast, and he always
yeah,
talked about Paul Gauci.
yes, yeah.
I haven't watched him in quite a while now, but I used to follow him a lot.
Me too. But I watched the film Back to Eden film that was about Paul Gauci's garden, and today the girls that filmed that video, like 5 or more years ago, were interviewing him live, and they were saying how they had done a test on the soil temperature with the wood chips and without the wood chips, and there was like a 10-degree difference in the soil temperature. Like it was hotter, 10 degrees hotter without the wood chips than it was underneath there with the wood chips on top.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's an important part of even keeping the soil temperature down, as well as
Yeah,
keeping the light.
that'll affect the air temperature here too. So all good. I just
Yeah.
haven't had a chance because it's weird. I don't really have a schedule for my job. I get called, and I don't have anybody that can be here to just, hey, stay around and get the wood chips put there, and then I can start moving them around. So
Mm-hmm.
unless I'm
Yeah,
just
it's tough
here,
when you're on your own. Boy.
I'll get
Yeah.
called on the weekend sometimes. I don't know for sure until like Friday if I'm going to get called for a Saturday, and this kind of
Mm-hmm.
that's the craziness of it. That I could have done a lot more with one person helping me.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. With two people, you can get more than twice as much done
Yeah,
because you can
yeah,
help each
that's
other.
an exponential thing.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I figure it's almost like two cubed or something.
Yes.
That's the way I've thought about it for years because, like, you get just it takes off. You have two people working on something.
Mm-hmm. Two minds, a mastermind. Yeah.
I don't need that part. I need I need the muscle. I don't. I have a hard time dealing with other people's ideas sometimes. I'm kind of a bit hard headed. I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah.
being the youngest, you get committed to something, but anyway, that's. I will listen to people, but I have a struggle sometimes. Like
Oh,
you
I
got to
get
do
it.
it
I
like
think
this.
we all do. We all think our ideas are, great, or want to at least try them out and things. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was my greatest failure in the front yard. Oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to maximize the heat and also it'll cool it a little bit, but I'll maximize the heat. And the stuff just kind of wilted away. Even my
Yeah.
comfrey is out there, and I don't know if it'll come back this time. A few times the leaves kind of wilted back, and I watered them because I've only been watering once a week, and it kind of popped back, but I don't know. It depends on what day it wilted back. Hi, Perma Pastures Farm. How's it going, Billy? Yeah, this guy here. I was singing your praises earlier, Perma. I'm trying to click on. You know why I'm using the wrong hand? I forget. I had switched it to left-handed mode. This computer, but some of them I don't. So I make craziness for myself doing this.
It's
But
a
yeah, this
challenge.
guy, he's growing. He's raising pigs and chickens and doing compost and bees and what else? He's got a somewhat of an earthship thing he's gonna structure. He's gonna build. Now, Permapastures Farm has it going on,
Wow.
and he
I
had
have to
some
check
turkeys
that out.
sold
That's amazing.
to with his logo. I think it was the end of last year, and he supported something towards supporting the veterans, I believe. That with the proceeds from that, and
Wow.
oh, good. I was telling your story about William wanting to make spoons and what you said a little bit earlier, Billy. I got a kick out of that. You're working like heck, and he's just loafing. They have a really good relationship. They kid each other, and William actually does a lot of work there. It looks like, but they really have it going on. I admire what you're doing, Perma Pastures.
Yeah, pasturing, that's a whole different level.
He totally
Pasturing animals. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's like the Bill Mollison of the North America or something, you know. I
Wow.
mean, Howie has it going good too, but this guy is, I mean, raising animals and all that. Yeah, I'm impressed. Really, when I found his channel, even lately, I thought, you know, why am I even doing my channel? His channel is much more impressive. He's doing all this. It's like, because sometimes, you know, you get tired of that. Why don't I do more videos? I'm not getting anywhere with it. I
Hmm.
still have the idea. I'm trying to inspire somebody a little bit, but it's like, is it helping? I don't even know.
I think it is, and I think you're adding to the energy of the permaculture, and you because not everyone's going to be able to relate to the pasture, but they could relate to you. Like you're the kind of guy they understand your thinking, and they see your yard and they think I could do something like that. It's a way to get started. So I think there's room for every single person. Not everybody's going to want to follow an old lady, or or I don't know, people just have different tastes. So I think there's room for all of us. I really do. And the garden teaches us that too. That like you need all of the little all of the little busybodies doing their thing to make it
Oh, that
whole.
could be, yeah, the hologram thing, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
thought of it that way. Cool. Yeah, now if you start having like 30 cats in there, I don't know if I could follow anymore. I used to have cats. I had an ex girlfriend that she got her amount of cats up to 20 something. And then I ended up being the beneficiary of taking care of 20 cats.
Oh wow. Oh
I,
my god.
you know, one lasted 17 years. Lived 17
Wow.
years. And he was the coolest cat around. But anyway, yeah, it's don't go the crazy cat lady route.
Well, I'm allergic to cats, so I just have
Oh,
one
well,
dog.
after that. I had a garden cat that adopted me because people dropped cats out here. And then I
Oh,
wasn't here a
lucky.
couple days and it was gone. So it must
Oh,
have found some other place to eat, or it got eaten in the system too. I don't know.
yeah, cats are great in the garden. Sometimes a wild cat will come through, and I'm always happy to see it. Or maybe it's a neighbor's cat because
I
they're
was
great at
giving it pet food
keeping the
because I thought,
population in
well, I
health.
want to encourage it to stay. But then I worked a couple days and I wasn't here. So then I came back and it was gone. It's like, darn it. If I'd only came back a couple more times. And then I don't want to leave food at night because I got off at night a couple times. I don't want to leave it,
Yeah.
and a raccoon will be more encouraged to be there, or a skunk, or, you know, so
Mhm.
I'll only leave it in the day. So I complicated it too much, maybe. Okay,
Mm.
Earthling, thanks for coming by. Always saying that, fellow Earthlings.
Oh, peace out. Yes, peace on earth.
Take
Goodwill
care,
to
Howie.
all.
Howie had some health issues, and he's getting through them little by little. So take care, Howie.
Yeah, take care.
And yeah, he would definitely encourage me with all this StreamYard, and because I wasn't even sure. I had never heard of StreamYard. I think I did a couple videos on YouTube live stream, and then he was telling me about that. And I tried to set this place up kind of like a studio, but this light, you wouldn't believe how small of a bulb I have in there. I can't even tell hardly the lights on. Sometimes I walk out of the room and I forget the lights on if I have this bulb in. But if I put the regular bulb in, it looks way bright. Looks like I got a giant halo or something, which I don't totally mind. But, it's like, uh, you know, so the weird things I have
Oh,
to do for it to kind of look right. If I put the other bulb in, it's way bright, and yet in the rest of the room I can't see that much. It shows in this
oh,
part
yeah.
because it's a hanging by a chain light, because I replaced the light that also didn't shine a lot of light that my mom had, but she had lamps all over, and anyway, it's one of them weird. But it kind of looks like
Yeah.
I'm in a forest. Huh? That's the idea. That's kind of why I put that
Yeah,
there.
it looks like you're sitting in front of an old tree. Is that what
Yeah.
you're sitting? Are you sitting in front of an old tree outside?
No, no, this is
Oh,
wallpaper.
wallpaper. Oh my gosh! The whole time I thought it was a tree.
See, it's supposed to be redwoods.
Oh yeah. Oh, very cool. That's so nice.
Yeah. So this is my front used to be the front room. It's like my media. I got a big old TV I put right here to. I wanted to hook that up and be able to use it as a monitor, and I don't have them capabilities. I don't understand how to do it. That's the thing. Not that I don't have the capabilities. I just don't know how to do it.
The learning curve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but somebody that knows all that and they'll hook all this up better.
Mm-hmm.
It's in process like the rest, working on a tiny bit.
Oh, nice.
You're
Yeah.
outside on. You have like a patio you're on or something.
Yes, it's a patio, and there's like a fan with a light overhead, so good amount of light. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So it's fairly warm there right now then.
Yes, it is.
So you
We
guys
got rain this morning though here in San Diego. We woke
really?
up to rain, which is wonderful.
Yeah, you guys have hotter than us. So I was
Mhm.
down there one time for a conference 10 years ago and it was gloomy every day.
Oh yeah, if you get too close to the beach, it's very gloomy. Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is terrible. Of course, by
It's
the
when the water temp is cold and you're close to the ocean and the water temp is cold, it'll have a fog bank. But if the water temp warms up, it won't be even foggy even next to the ocean down here.
oh, okay, weird.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But yeah, I was like, oh man, it was like this the cloudy, like gloomy, like, oh, this is terrible. So anyway, I had an aunt that used to live down there. Long story short, she went down there in like the 70s and she just passed a few years back. But she
So you had
raised
occasionally go
her kids
down.
down there and everything.
Nice. Yeah.
Somewhere. I mean, we didn't get to know them that well because they were living in San Diego and my parents
You were far away.
San Diego from the San Francisco Bay Area. They had 6 kids. You know,
Yes.
it's too much distance. There wasn't all this way to interact back then. So
Right. I know. I love this way to interact. It's so fun.
yeah, I mean it's somehow it's better. I think better than not having it.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, my grandparents look. They didn't even have. You know, you might have a postcard, but
Right? Yeah. I know.
you know,
It's amazing. They didn't have a car. They were still on horse and buggy.
yeah. I mean, yeah, my grandparents, well, on my dad's side, anyway, we were born in '05. So yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
they actually came to this area. My great granddad came to this area in '01.
Oh, that's so cool. So you guys have
Yeah.
been around for a long time. The
My
family
dad was
line.
born down the street in a house that no longer exists in
Wow.
1936. And then in '64, he had this house built. And but yeah, we've been around this area. It's hard to want to leave this area,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But it gives me a feel for like, say, like Native Americans. They say, "Oh, we were here for so many thousand years." How displaced they must have felt because they knew there. Maybe they didn't know in numbers of years, but they must have had a super deep feeling that they were connected to an area. You know, maybe they didn't calculate how many
Mm-hmm.
generations or whatever, but I mean,
Yes.
if I can look back to, we've been here since say 1935, that's 85 years at least on the street. And it means something to me. It's got to mean a lot to them. Been there like, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And I think when your people are buried there too, like your ancestors are buried there, it even ties you even more.
Yeah, I would
Right?
think so. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not taking blame for it. The Spanish came and stole the land, basically. It comes down to, but then, whatever else happened after that. So all this cancel culture and this, I don't accept it fully because it wasn't my people that came and did that. We came later. It was already done. Sorry.
I think if we would just stop talking about that, we could just all get along. Remember Rodney King? Can't we all just get along? Like, we don't need to keep talking all this
I used to
crap.
say it was Rodney King like, because there was a big old one that like they beat the heck out of him with. Exactly. We just,
But I like what he said. Why can't we all just get along? I like that idea.
Exactly. Find ways to get along. We can't
Yeah.
change the past.
Yes.
We weren't there. I wasn't there. And those
Exactly.
people that are
We
here
didn't have
now were not there.
slaves.
I wasn't either.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the thing. Yeah, there were some wrong things done, but I mean, they try to cancel John Muir, and it's like, come on, he did a lot of good, and he was a product of his environment. So
Mm-hmm.
he didn't understand the natives, but nobody that was of the European descent did back then.
Yeah. One of the things that we've noticed too is like when you're a little kid and you go to public school, they keep asking you your race. And when you file your taxes or when you do any government thing, they always want to know your race. What if they just stopped asking? Then we would all just like stop talking about it.
Exactly. Who cares? I work with people of all, I don't care. You treat me okay, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
what? This is the funny part that you it brings me around to a garden thing too. One of the things that I discovered in the garden was I used to, if I didn't recognize a plant out there in the yard, I would just go, I would be like, oh, that's a weed, because I didn't know what it was. And I would just pull it up. And I thought that the only plants that were valuable were the ones that I planted. And then when they started with these plant identification apps, what?
Yeah. Tudu was a big part of the problem. I'm kidding you. Go ahead.
Yes. I was like, look at you. I don't know what you are. I'm going to pull you out.
Colonialism in the garden.
Yeah, but then when the plant identification apps on your phone came out, and I got one, I started just using it regularly and discovering the first thing was the name of the plant. And then from there, you could look on Wikipedia or just Google it and find all kinds of resources about what that plant does and its habitat, its uses in history, maybe culinary uses, medicinal uses. And I started discovering that we have so many great plants that are growing here voluntarily. And after a while, I thought, they were probably cultivated by previous generations, our native people that grew these plants for purposes. Because I've had flaxseed come up, feverfew, wild lettuce, which is an analgesic. If you put the sap on you, it takes your...
had a garden along the way over the last few hundred years there. It blew in from another garden nearby, right?
Yep.
Yeah, when we don't know, we tend to think, at least I was always, oh, that's a weed. Because nobody that I knew, none of my relatives knew what it was. So it was all weeds.
Yes. So that really translates to our human culture as well. Like we don't know someone, so we just don't understand their value right off the bat.
How to make somebody in the spotlight.
Oh.
That's how you do it. Is where you're down. I'm down below and you're down below. So I click. There's a little icon that looks like a person's shoulders and head. So you click on that if you want to make that person in the spotlight. I had totally forgot earlier, but so see if I want.
Good job
on mine.
Now you're back in control.
Yeah, I want at some point if my channel was to grow more, or I just get someone to rent a room or something that could help me when I do these. Say somebody's speaking, have them switch it. Just be like the technical director to make better video.
Oh yeah. Do you have to be in the same room, or can you do it like? Could someone help you from far away?
That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. Maybe if I had a remote computer, some kind of program where we had circle off of one like they do in companies.
Because I noticed like some of the live chats on YouTube, they have a moderator that kind of helps out things and posts little things in the chat.
Yeah. See, if I go to YouTube, I can give everybody a wrench and they can drop their link. I just haven't gone over there because I started this on StreamYard.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, hi, Cecilia. Sorry, I put that up and then I didn't acknowledge it.
Nice. Raven Cat Homestead.
You click and you can put a comment up too, see. And then you go over here and they've got a thing where you can put these pre-made banners I have. I click on one.
Oh.
So then another one comes up, growing share food, stuff like that. You know, so.
Hi, Raven Cat Homestead. Hi, Cecilia. This is so fun.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn, but StreamYard, you know, these programming people make it easy for us. And I only use a free StreamYard. It's up to like 12 hours a month. I'll never use that. So I got down to where I wanted kind of a schedule. So I try to go like the third Saturday, something like that. And I don't know if it's the third or fourth this time, but anyway, somewhere around like the 20th, I try to pick.
Wow.
And then I don't have to every Saturday rush over here. Because I spend long story short, I spend part of my time in Oakland. It's 25 miles away. Because when I get a job, it's quick. It's 15 minutes. Here, it could be 2 hours to get over there.
Oh,
Especially now that people are out and being locked up all the time. Traffic is horrible up here. It's getting like LA.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and it's scary too. People are getting to be worse drivers, I think. Like people are going fast and going up on sidewalks and doing all kinds of weird things. I don't know if it's going on down there, but
yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
Well, and then Oakland, it seems like they go 50 on the surface street and 50 on the highway too. It's like, come on, get out of the way.
Oh, darn it.
People see a brake light and everybody slows down. Speed up. I want to go somewhere. I don't want to hang out on the highway all day. I don't get people. I really don't get people.
Yeah, it's always hard to understand why the freeway slows down. Like if we all just went 60, would we all just go 60? But I guess it's maybe something ahead that.
Part of it up here, though, is the roundabouters. Get off, get on the next exit. Get off. They think they're getting ahead. They're just making it slower for everybody.
Oh.
So what they've done a metering light on a lot of the entrances.
Wow.
But I think it's not good enough to moderate that problem. I think people still get off, get on the neck, and then get back on the highway thinking, well, I get ahead of 10 people.
That's totally aggro. Oh my gosh. I don't want to be like that.
That goes on.
I'd rather just be like enjoying my ride in the car.
And the slower people won't get over and just leave some lanes for people to fly by. It's so like egotistic, I think, of them. Maybe because I want to go faster, I think that. But maybe I'm egotistic too. But it's called the fast lane for a reason. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're going 50, please stay in those ones on the right.
Yeah.
And people, there's times when you can legally go up here, at least in the diamond lane, without 3 people. So I try to utilize that, and people will be in the diamond lane going 50. Get out of the way, please. I got in here to go faster, not to look at me. I'm in the diamond lane. It's so ridiculous. There's no common sense in it. Mm-hmm. So I try to utilize the shortcuts, and the people won't allow me.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's just freeway traffic. I'm always trying to moderate when I go somewhere.
It's like a challenge to keep your peace. To say, bless all these people, stay calm, keep going, and be in your own peace.
I have to write that down and try to do that.
It's like a Zen master.
I felt like I was being pretty zen, not swearing at anybody. And no hand signals either in probably a year or two.
Oh, good. Because I think it hurts your own body more than it does, affect other people's behavior.
Probably. I've noticed that at work. I try not to get all stressed because I have to yell at truck drivers a lot of times, but to take it in and be stressed about it at the same time is different. Just yell, hey, don't do that, or instead of being all worked up and making it personal and being an ego thing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Because at first, a few years ago, I'd get all upset. Nah, not so much. What's the point?
Yes.
I just want to go there and make some money and go home. Without getting in a fight. There's a guy at work that got in a fight with somebody. It's not good. So.
Oh, yeah.
But you should never let the truck driver stay out of his truck either. They're supposed to be in the truck. There was at least a couple wrongs in that, So it's getting out of the truck. I don't care if he's threatening me or whatever. Get back in your truck. That's the thing. You can't let them want to get out of their truck because already if you're giving them heck about something, they're already mad. You don't let somebody get within 2 feet of you if they're not, if you told them something that they don't want to hear. Because then it's on, if you come up in my face, that's just common sense. So you try not to let that happen. It's like stay in the truck. Because sometimes we give them tickets and it's like a couple weeks out of the terminal. And they don't like that. 14-day suspension.
Oh.
It's not a monetary ticket like they have to pay, but they can get 14 days or more suspension from the marine terminal.
Oh.
Doing right. Sometimes, hey, I didn't do that. And the only way to get them to stop with all this jabbering is say, if you keep arguing, it's 30 days. I can make it 30 days, and then they'll usually calm down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I want to get out and explain or argue. No. Get back in your truck, please. Because it's not going to go any better by getting out. Sometimes the person that's had to give them heck is mad too. It's not good. I'd rather he sit up in his truck and I sit down here in my truck or stand down here. So it's volatile. They don't want to miss a day's pay.
Yeah.
So anyway, try to minimize is what I'm saying. Minimize the drama in everything.
Yes.
Try to minimize the drama. And you know what? It's a learning curve because society doesn't teach these things. It's just like, oh, don't. Well, how?
Yes.
You got to learn. Sometimes you have to be assertive, but that doesn't mean you have to be mad.
Right. And that's an art in itself. It's like communicating without attacking. And
even sometimes I just I'll give the truck drivers the idea of what can happen, and I won't necessarily give them a ticket to say it's going to be 14-day suspension if you do that. And many times it'll modify their behavior.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I got your email, Cecilia. What I'm going to do is I just decided today is send out the newer version when it arrives. It says the spring version of the I almost said Pacific Permaculture magazine. Things going to my head. The Permaculture Design magazine. I think the new one, when it shows up, will be more relevant. And I just renewed, so it'll probably be the fall one will show up. You guys are gonna have to wait a little longer, but I was already lagging. So I don't know if you've seen this too. Let me show you a version. Here's the at my giveaway what I gave out. But these were the spring versions. So I thought, I got thinking, well, I'm not send out the spring version. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, very cool.
I didn't give away your thing because I thought, well, maybe she changed her mind, and I want to be
So sorry.
nervous. So I was
That
like,
was
well,
such a
being she didn't
oh,
show, maybe there's something reason that she changed her mind or what. So without further, you know, affirmation, then I was like, well, I better not.
that was very polite of you. Just because you're like not sure. I feel so like a huge pit in my stomach about that whole thing. Like, oh my gosh. And I was mad at my brother too for dying at the wrong time and messing up my fun that I was all excited about.
I'm mad at him too. It
Yeah,
really is.
I know.
I'm kidding. Yeah,
Brat.
it goes.
Jeez.
Was he an older brother?
Yeah. Yeah, he's older brother. He lived right down the street and
Oh, neat.
yeah, so what can you say? Sometimes I think it's my luck. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people die on us. That's
Yeah.
too.
But I was so excited for it. I was like, oh, this is so exciting and scary. And I was feeling the same way again today, like, because I've really never done this before. So it was a big deal in my mind. And,
Oh, so now you can
so
never say
such
that
an
phrase
honor.
again.
So I'm glad that we got to do it tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I saved you from repeating
I
that
did.
about live stream again. I've never done this before. No, no excuses now. You got to just have them twice a week, and
Yeah. Right.
some of the
Yeah. At
places
least try it
I go,
once. Yeah.
I go to some that aren't necessarily garden. Like there's one called the Hapsters. This lady is from Hawaii, or she lives in Hawaii, and it just you go on there and chat with people, and sometimes I get on the panel and just talk about nonsense,
That's
But you
cool. You don't
actually
have to
some
take it
people
so
have come to me
seriously.
through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still have that if they want to talk about food and stuff, but sometimes you just want to talk about nonsense, whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I go
Yeah.
on there or some other ones, I think sometimes. And actually, Raven Cat Cecilia, I found from Howie. I think she was a friend of Howie's, but there's people that, and I don't know through me or what, but I've seen Glenn over there at the Hapsters and some other people. So, it's kind of a fluid thing.
That's
So
so
that's
cool.
cool. Yeah, you go on there, and I know people on there that will come and support my channel to a degree, and that's great. But I'm okay kind of if they don't too, because it's a different thing. And there's a guy in the Bay Area, Sean Tuber, that I've been going. He has a thing, some kind of a game where you win watch hours, and it's like a word find game. It's like Wheel of Fortune kind of, but you're not spinning a wheel. You're just like guessing letters.
Wow, that sounds fun.
So he has that on live stream I think once a week. And
Wow.
I've had a whole community of people through this YouTube thing that I didn't know at first. I was struggling along. I didn't know anybody, and I met Howie, and I don't know who else I met after that. But somewhere along the line, I met Glenn, I met Dan, and all these people, and then I started finding out about the live streams and all this.
That's so awesome. The new normal, right? We can be friends with
Yeah,
people from anywhere. I love it.
yeah, it's neat. And some people, it tends to be the smaller channels get along better. It seems like the bigger channels are scared they'll lose something a lot of times, or they're just too busy to be bothered. I don't know which, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this in this situation, it feels more like a party, like a party at somebody's house or something like that. Where other times it gets so big, it loses that feel.
no, I see. Yeah, you can have up to I think 10 on a panel.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I think you can have even more than that if you pay, but you can have StreamYard for free. up to a point, but there's more features if you pay. So see, like there's a little duck emblem. Part of paying is they take the duck emblem away. Well, I've learned to ignore it. So
Yeah.
I can ignore it for money. That's the thing.
Uh-huh.
It's like I used to have the Yahoo groups. I set one up for the family and it was all cool. And they had all these other links, right? Well, I learned to ignore those.
Yes.
It was free. Otherwise, you had to pay if you didn't want the links. I just figured I could ignore them.
Yeah. Everyone else learns to ignore it too.
Yeah, at first, though, family members would, what is this thing? And what they'd be clicking on them. Just ignore those.
Mhm.
And that lasted, I think, for like 20 years. I set up in like year 2000, and 20 years later, I just, because Yahoo changed their thing around, I told the family, look, I set this up for my mom, and I don't want to just keep doing it because it had to change to either Google Groups or something anyway. And my cousin took it on after that. But basically, I did because my mom had lost her hearing almost entirely. And I pushed it through. I got my sisters to push her to get a computer because I got a computer and was learning about getting email and stuff. And I thought, well, this way she could communicate with her siblings because otherwise she's lost. Who's going to write
Yes.
letters and stuff like that? And she started liking it, and anyway, kept that going. So that was a great asset.
Yes.
Yeah,
It really is great that we can communicate over the distances. It's really wonderful. I think it's one of the best parts about this time. Even though we have a lot of crazy stuff, we can still talk to each other in so many different ways and see each other.
Yeah. And on New Year's Eve, I had a couple of women from the Philippines sing on the channel.
Wow. That's so
It's
cool.
neat because I mean they're so far away, but they're right there on the screen, you know.
Yeah.
Somehow I still don't understand how they do that, but wow. I mean, they're the day ahead or something. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and I'll
amazing.
actually never do that stream that long again because after a while you can't. They won't let you edit it.
Okay.
It was 8
Yeah.
hours, and I thought, oh, I'll just go back and cut a couple hours of fluff out, and I couldn't.
Oh.
They won't let you.
It always reminds me of the Bewitched show too, where like Endora would just show up in your living room. Like that's how we are. We're all showing up in each other's space wherever we are.
Yeah, I wish they had some kind of an icon or a puff of smoke.
Oh yeah. That would be
Puff
good.
of smoke, and there's somebody there.
Yeah.
Or she twitches her nose and something happens. Especially the lady at Tabitha. Twitch your nose and they make bloop, bloop, bloop sound, and then something happens.
Yes.
Twitch your nose and the yard is all planted.
Yes, and it's blooming.
Or like, well, it's all harvested. Here it is on the table. Wow, cool.
Oh, dinner's already made.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of my first ideas if I ever hit the lottery jackpot. I'm hiring a cook.
Oh yeah.
I don't mind cooking. It's just I don't want to cook every single time and go buy all the stuff every single time or however I get it. You know, it's like, oh, gee,
Mhm.
too much time wasted.
Yeah. And it's hard to cook for one. Do you ever think about having it like have someone a boarder stay there that could help you with things?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I'd like to rent a room, and if I could find someone that was a cook, they might want to trade.
Yeah, cook and garden.
I don't need 3 meals a day. I don't necessarily even need 1 meal a day. I figured it out where if they did like 10 or 15 meals a month, they would make a pretty good deal, and I would too. Because it just has to be big enough that I could eat it more than one day.
Yes.
Because that's how I cook now. I usually cook enough that vegetables that I can eat for a couple days, 4-cup bowls, and that type of thing. It doesn't. not like I'm trying to like, hey, I need 3 more meals today. No, it's not. When I tell people, they take it to the extreme, right? They're like, wow, you want somebody slaving over the stove? No, I don't. For the right person, they could just, boom, they'll be
Maybe
done.
someone who likes to putter in the garden too.
That would be ideal.
Yeah.
They could go harvest
Yeah.
it.
And
While
if
you're
they
out
like
there,
if they like the garden.
yeah, I do have some of them ideas, but I never got the house up to the point where I wanted to be able to accomplish it yet. I kind of stalled out and for a couple of reasons, and then didn't get back because I got busy. They were kind of saying that, well, they're bringing people in to give them a regular job, basically. So I don't want to miss work right now. So it's always, if I have a day off, I'm tentative, like, do I get involved in doing something because I might go to work? Generally, it doesn't happen on the weekend, but that's the other times I'm like, oh, I don't know. I better not go get involved in this or that because then I'll miss a call.
Oh yeah.
All that craziness. So hopefully it happens this year and I could just get on with planning things. But yeah,
that would be cool.
I have those ideas, then that'll be totally easy then. If I can get someone that wants to trade and just cook so many times, and then I'll cook sometimes for myself, but I don't want to every time. I want to have something there like, oh, it's in the fridge. Okay, cool. Hi, Adrian. How you doing? Sorry, I've been ignoring you there. How's the bus? Adrian is in Australia. Adrian Gibson.
Oh wow.
Many times he would be on
sending love and prayers. I know Australia's been really going through a lot of tough times.
On the train. What? What, you fall off the wagon? That's just not right. Why are you on the train? Many times he'd be on a live stream and he'd be on with his phone, so he'd be on a bus. So I always kid him about how's the bus and all this. He takes it in stride. So thankfully he doesn't live like 5 feet away, so I'll find out if he really likes it or not. Knocking on my door. Hey, what'd you say about me on the bus? But yeah, he's a pretty good guy. He's from Australia. I don't think he has any videos up though. Do you, Adrian? You're more of a supporter type, right? Some people kind of have a channel just to support, like Cecilia Ravencat doesn't do videos. I don't think Adrian does videos.
Oh yeah, just to have like a username, so when you go on and chat, you have your username. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big. At first, they'd have, when I first found YouTube, this whole thing about subscribing, I was suspicious, like, because our era, you subscribe to something, you had to pay money, and they're like, it's free. No, it's free, you're subscribing. It should have made a different term instead of calling it subscribing, because
oh yeah,
I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't want to go down that road because they're like, well, I'm not subscribing, they're going to charge me.
Yeah, like a magazine.
Yeah, because from our era,
or a newspaper,
hey, get ready to pay. So, I didn't even understand it at all. And my nephew kind of explained it to me, or said that, oh, it's just that you sign up and you don't charge you anything. Because he was really.
It's always the young people that have to tell us. Yeah. Like, have you heard that saying, okay, boomer? Okay, boomer. No. That's like what a young person might do when they're beginning to explain like how to go on TikTok or something like that. They'd be like, okay, boomer, here's how you do it.
Oh, that offend the old timers. I get it. Yeah. No, nobody said that to me yet. Or if they did, I didn't know what they're talking about. So it went right by me.
I just heard it. I thought it was funny. Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer. That's funny. Yeah, if I heard it, I probably didn't know what it was, and like a lot of things, hear things if it doesn't. I've been talking to me. Hey, Bud, thanks for coming by. Bud Presley, he's a real good guy. I found him through Brett Glass.
Oh, thank you so much, Bud. That was
Hey,
so
Bud, check out her channel. She's got some really good content. Bud likes raising food and stuff too sometimes.
wonderful.
Very nice guy.
Nice to meet you.
He claims relation to Elvis.
Wow.
Right, Bud? Or were you kidding that time you're talking about that? Anyway, Bud's a good guy. Have
Sweet.
chatted with him a bunch of times. We'll be on the panel, or he'll be on the panel, and type something in.
Wow, that's so fun.
There's people I can't necessarily think of the name right off the top of my head, but they'll come in. I go, oh, I know who that is. Yeah, Bud is the most genuine people.
Your microphone's making some little static right now. Check your microphone. It's making static.
Me? Let me see. What can I do? It's still in, so I don't know what's happening. Let's see. Mute and unmute. Mute myself. I muted my microphone. I was going to mute now. It wasn't on my end.
Wobbly.
Oh, that means the connection's breaking.
Like static or feedback or something.
Yeah, it's not here because I had muted my microphone and it wasn't happening. Sounds like you got a rodent eating up your computer.
Well, maybe that's a sign that it's time for Betty Bye.
Maybe it's a raccoon trying to get your computer. Hi, Ruby. Oh, you're not saying hi to me, but you probably did earlier. Hi, Ruby. Oh, yeah, sometimes where did I? Anyway, some of these people, different channels I look at, I'll watch. I'll try.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it, but it's muted mine, and it's not. Let me see. Let me mute your mic for a second and see if it. Yeah, it's on your end, because it all stopped. I muted the mic for a minute. You got a ghost in the machine there, as they say. What was that, Pink Floyd? There's a ghost in the machine. There's some kind of a raccoon eating up your band there or something. Really sounds like a creature back there. No, actually it's not, because I muted her microphone. Watch this. I'm going to mute her microphone. See? So once I mute her microphone, it'll go silent. Good night, Cecilia. Thanks for coming by, as always. Once I get the new subscription of the magazines, I'll send you a newer copy. It'll be more relevant. Okay? I don't want to send the old one. I felt I thought about it today and I felt like, that's not the right thing to do. That's not how I roll, as they say in the new terminology. Oh, Tutu's gone. I guess she called it. Anyway. Yeah, Ruby's a good one to meet, bud. Good supporter. She comes here a bit. So what's happening, Adrian? You still here? Who's still here? Raise your hand. I kind of overwhelmed this thing. I just was going to come on for a few minutes, but it has been kind of interesting. And we've had quite an eclectic mix of people come on. It's been wonderful. And grow soil. That's a good one. It's a good one. Aha, good for you, bud. You got somebody happy there. I'm doing fine, Ruby. Doing quite fine here. I was happy to be able to do this last minute live stream, and I had quite a following of people show up to support. That made me feel good. And Tutu had never done a live stream, so she got to come up on it and that type of thing. So now she's got some experience, and she could have talked about her channel more, but anyway, she's got a good channel going on. Everybody, if you got a chance and you want to check out something new, check out Aloha Food Forest. She's very talking about how cool it is to have all these things interact in your yard and have your food growing and support the microbes in the soil and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so it's really a good thing. Hey, thanks, Glenn. Thanks for sticking around. I'll put the invite link again if somebody wants to come up on the panel. You feel free. None of this having to give over your firstborn or anything, because I don't think I could raise a kid. So, it's for my benefit. I don't request that. I'm still trying to raise myself. How could I raise somebody else? They say people start getting senile and stuff, start going into their second childhood. Well, gee, I have to finish my first childhood still. I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever happen, the second childhood. Thanks, Tutu. Thanks for coming up on the panel. I don't know. I think your husband was back there eating potato chips or something. Or was that a raccoon? I don't know. But or crunching on like a popcorn. No problem. Yeah, anytime. I leave it open. I'm not very restrictive on people coming on the panel. It's just that people don't want to come on the panel. They're busy. So sometimes people play this while they're doing other things. I know that. So because I do the same thing. I'll be doing something. I'll be playing somebody's either pre-recorded or their real live stream. You know. Aha. Yeah. I see. I see how it is. Sure. I'm kidding you. I know these things happen. So anyway. Okay, sure, Glenn. Actually, while you have that few minutes, I'm going to take a minute and get another refreshment, I think. This water, or let me claim this as something else. This tequila is not sufficient. Actually, use the restroom. Hi, Jay. Thanks for coming in. I didn't realize you're here. I just went to get something to eat, some mochi. They call this daifuku. It's got mochi on the outside and it's got red bean in the middle. And it's green because they have what they call yomogi in it, which is mugwort. It gives you these kind of cool dreams and stuff, right? So I eat it at night. It's kind of a wasted dream in a way. Like, you know, if you're wasted in a sense. Not totally, but kind of gives you kind of a mellow dream. How you been, Jay? You can come up on the panel too if you like, Jay. Scroll up and I left the link. Aloha Food Forest just came on the panel earlier. If any of you guys do the replay, you can catch her. And she's got a nice channel. She's in San Diego, California. Check her out if you get a chance. And hi,
Hello,
Ruby.
Sir Ron. Hello, everyone.
This is the first time, folks. 2 first timers, at least on my channel. Ruby's never been on my channel till now on the live.
Oh, oh, Sir Ron, I'm still at work. I just tried to come up here
Oh,
and say hello to everyone.
hi. Good to hear a voice.
Yeah.
I think, you know, we always interpret a voice when we read, right? But it's good to hear your voice.
That's our. Thank you, Sir Ron. Can I promote my channel?
Sure.
Hey guys, everyone in the building. If you want to connect to my channel, that is Ruby, or you can also do manual search like Ruby Lopez vlogs, and yes, if you want to connect, and I will return the love as well to your paradise. Thank you so much. All right, Siron, thank you so much.
Oh, no problem, Ruby. That's what it's about. We got to try to help each other.
Yeah, thank you everyone, guys, and Siron. I will leave you in the background, Siron.
Oh, okay. Thanks for coming up.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm lurking at work, sir.
Mhm.
Okay, bye bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you next time then, Ruby. You guys don't want to come up, Bud or Jay or Glenn? Was thinking about it, but I don't know. You might be onto something there, Bud. You could have a good addition to your life, maybe right there. Okay. Thanks for rolling my video, Ruby. Much appreciated. Oh, okay. Hey, Jay, don't worry about the shower. There's no smell-o-vision, so I'm just saying. We won't even know. You can skip a few days if you want. There's guys I work with that I swear they hardly ever take a shower. Oh wow. Anyway. If they ever invent smell-o-vision, I'll be one of the first ones in trouble, trust me. Sometimes they eat something and hey, I'm not saying it doesn't agree with me. It agrees with me. Doesn't agree with the viewers. Oh, I see. Let me put a different banner up here. You probably know by now I like to kid about things. I'm a person that gets super serious about stuff, so when I can, I try to kid about stuff, kind of offset that serious. Okay, I'm starting to realize what BG means. At first, you said that on a channel that I was watching. I'm like, what the hell is BG? You know. Hey, you better wait a minute. Jay's almost in the shower. Give him a chance, bud. Gonna get kind of crowded in there otherwise. Pickled beef. Cool. I eat a lot of beets. I make this thing. I should do another video of it. It probably goes back a couple years where I made what I call glop. I put onions in it. I kind of, I'm gonna say I fry them, but kind of sweat them a little bit. And then I put in beets and sweet potato and red cabbage and everything under the garden sun pretty much and cook it. BG is background, Tutu. Let me me see. Let me drop the link. I'll try not to drop it on anybody's foot. I'm always thinking of like a chain link, right? People say, drop the link. Oh, not on my foot, please. There is the link. Anybody wants to come up on the panel? It can even be a short promotion. I'm okay with it. Ruby always comes and comments and participates. No problem. Come up and promote. So someone else want to come up and promote? Feel free. Just, do you cut your own hair, bud? I have been watching some of OMJ's stuff, Jay, but I fell back on his stuff. He has long videos, and I just don't always spend the time. But nice. Oh, my onions are small, but tremendously good. I have to learn how to grow them a little bit bigger, but some of them were the diameter of maybe a quarter. Oh, so sweet. So sweet. And welcome, Glenn, from How to Garden, or Without a Garden, however you want to call that. How you doing, Glenn?
Hi, Ron. How's it going?
Oh, I'm fine. Quite fine. This was kind of a surprise live stream. I'd been telling Tutu that usually I do
I'm
it.
doing pretty good.
Try doing this time of the month, and so I did. How's the lychee and everything? You're talking, was it on the Hapsters the other day, talking about lychee? One of the live streams, I'm not sure who hosted, but anyway. Did you say you have like 44 lychee plants?
Yeah.
Incredible.
I started a bunch of lychee from seed. Got a total of 45.
Nice. How long do those take to propagate? Say to germinate from the seed and everything. It take a while.
Mm, 2 to 4 weeks.
Huh. Not bad. And then what are they, like say, what size seedling are they? Are they just little like cotyledonous leaves, or are they more of a, how big are they?
Right now, they've got their second and third set of leaves. They're about 6 to 8 inches tall.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's what I was envisioning, but I thought, well, I better ask, because shouldn't assume, you know, better to ask and really know than guess. Wow. That's cool. How long,
Go ahead.
how long before you're going to try to sell them? Another month or something? You can let them grow out a little bit more? Or?
Next spring.
Oh, next spring, you're going to have real trees then, for sure then.
Yeah, I'm looking to have them 18 to 24 inches tall before I put them up for sale.
Cool.
So I don't want to give something to somebody that might not make it. I want to try to make it as successful as possible. That way they come back and get more things from me.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to sell it, right? I mean, of course, you want the integrity of something that's going to make it. So that makes sense. So then are you going to say how soon are you going to try to propagate more so you have this rotation?
Well, I'm getting the seeds from a friend, so I'll have to wait a full year before I can get more seeds.
Oh, okay.
I will be keeping a couple for myself and planting them, but it's going to be 7 years or so before they produce.
Yeah, you might want to buy one and then just get this, from that's already fruited if possible.
Well, if I went and I bought one that was grafted that was supposed to produce fast, what's going to end up happening is first year it's going to be shocked when you put it in the ground.
Right.
Second year it'll grow super slow, and then the third year it'll start to really grow. But I'm still looking at 5 to 6 years before they fruit.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
spend that much money?
Yeah. I'm just thinking maybe you can get up to speed a little quicker with your thing. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a toss up if you're doing that.
Well, 45 of them for free versus spending $45 to $100 for one that'll produce in 5 years,
Yeah.
6 years. So
I get you. If you make it right, maybe they'll produce sooner.
every once in a while with the lychees, sometimes you'll get a variant that'll fruit in as little as 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, you're talking about planting hundreds of seeds to get one that does that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, best of luck anyway. And hey, great. At least you're doing it. Start now. Right. It's all we have. We don't have yesterday no more.
I've gotten a whole lot of other things going too this year. I've got 35, 40 mulberries of 3 different types that I've cloned.
Cool.
I've got 22 sour sops, 18 sugar apples. I'm about to do another round of mulberry.
Wow.
I'm trying my first attempt at cloning from cutting star fruit.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, you're supposed to air layer it, but something came along and broke a branch off, so I'm giving it a try.
Cool.
Half of them will end up being sold. The other half, I'll probably end up giving away just so I can get people to grow things in their yard.
There you go. That's great. Well, that's good, bud. You had some success at least, instead of just feeding all the wildlife. But yeah, hey, that's great, Glenn. Good to hear. It's like I had a bunch of redwood trees that I bought, seedlings, and I had them in these half barrels. And I stupidly left them where they caught a lot of heat, and it got hot. It had kind of a heat spell in the spring. And I just lost basically $200. It was kind of dumb because there's redwood trees I could have cut a little piece off a branch and rooted it. It's a rooting hormone, and so it made me think, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm going to start making my own from branches.
I've lost more trees than I can count. Not everything takes.
Yeah.
So, if you can clone some redwoods, go ahead.
Supposedly it's not that hard to do, right?
I've never played with them. They don't grow in my environment.
But anyway, because I was going to put them around the yard and stuff, backyard, and then I was like, one day I came and they were dead. And I was like,
wow.
I don't remember if it was 10 or like 15 trees I had there dead. The other pot, one is barely alive out of like 9 or 10. I'm like, oh, gee, why did I do it the expensive way, But anyway, that's
I've
it.
lost more that I've bought than I've ever did from stuff that I've propagated myself.
Isn't that ironic? You'd think it'd be the other way around, but
Well, one of the big problems I have is if when I buy something, I'm getting it from a nursery and it's already addicted to artificial fertilizers.
Yeah.
So you got to wean them off.
And probably overwatering too.
Yeah, some of the better nurseries around here, that's not as much of a worry, but the artificial fertilizers is 100%. And to wean them off, you got to give them a little bit just to keep them going until they build the right connections with soil microbes and fungus.
I wonder if I've had that problem and not realized it with stuff before. I bet I have. Stuff just died and I'm like, dang, I lost something else.
Yeah, they don't have the association to what's in the soil, so you suddenly cut them off on what they were just absorbing through water solubles, and they'll die. So when you're doing that, go ahead and wean them off. They're addicted to a drug. So the best way that I found to do it is first year I give them what the actual nurseries were giving them. The second year I switch them over to a water soluble but organic version. And then the third year I start backing them down on that and adding more and more compost, making sure it has the right things. And then I start in with water soluble teas that I make myself. Usually by the fifth year, they're completely weaned, and you can tell they look better. They're growing better on their own. I don't have to really do anything anymore.
Is one of those that you use is Osmocote in there somewhere?
A lot of people like Osmocote. Around here, everybody uses 10-10-10. So you walk around these nurseries, and you can see the 10-10-10 granules everywhere.
Oh, okay. Because I had a horticulture class, and they'd always use that in the greenhouse. Hi, Sean, by the way. Hi, Sean. Well,
Hi, Sean. How you doing?
Interesting, though. I had never thought of that the thing that they're hooked on this stuff, and we got to wean them off of it.
Well, they don't have the association with the bacteria and the fungus. They don't know how to eat. All they know how to do is drink.
Yeah.
And the fertilizers are water soluble.
Dang it. Huh. It makes sense now that you say it that way, but I just hadn't dawned on me in that way until you said it. It's like, oh.
A lot of people never figured that one out. I watched so many gardeners come down here to Florida and slam trees and stuff in and just walk away and watch it die.
You're going to see things start happening then when you get yours going, because you know what you're doing more. You're not getting
I've got
stuff.
a lot going. I've actually run out of places to put trees for myself.
Wow.
Once they mature, there's nowhere to put anymore.
Wow. Cool. What a dilemma to have.
Well, that's where I'm moving on to the next step, and I'm filling in herbaceous layers, small shrubs that can be in the understory, and creating vegetable beds in various different places so I can do my annuals in a more organized format.
You could have kind of a food forest kit set up.
Almost.
Okay.
It's kind of halfway between doing a food forest and doing raised beds.
Uh-huh. That's cool. I'm pretty sure you'll have it going on pretty well if you figured all this other stuff out. I mean, wow.
My biggest thing is getting my soil good enough to support vegetables and things like that.
Uh-huh. What do you think that'll take? A bunch of wood chips or?
Well, I'm 9 loads of wood chips in, and I've got a significant difference. I also need to import clay because I'm a sand-based.
Oh.
So there's kind of a trinity. Now I'm actually working on a video to explain it, where between sand and aggregate, clay and silt, and organics or soil carbon that I'm building. And it's going to take quite some time to get it there. I'm going to be throwing in videos with tricks on how to get clay in an area where there's almost no clay.
Uh-huh.
So I can't just go down the road and dig up several buckets of clay and go throw that, and it's not here. But there are some tricks.
Okay. Cool.
You've got the opposite problem.
Yeah, you can come here and get clay, dude. Bring me some sand. Sand and loam. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got the heavy clay. It's like shit, it's like concrete. I mean, you can build stuff. No wonder they built adobe houses way back when.
Yeah, it was everywhere. You just use the clay. It was there. It's right on the ground.
What the hell are we doing with this hard stuff? Oh, wait a minute. We can make a wall out of this.
See, they didn't do that in Florida. And you can't stack this sand to make anything out of it. First hurricane that comes over and it's all gone. Where your sandcastle at?
Yeah.
What you need for your soil, from what I've been gathering by looking at your soil in your videos, is copious amounts of organics, approximately getting between 5 and 15% organics into there, and sand or aggregate for drainage. The best thing I could recommend if you want to actually go in ground there is wait until your wet season and get a broad fork and fork your soil and then put your organics on it and fork it again. Now, as far as organics go, your compost and biochar. Get that in, get your sand in with it at the same time, fork it really good, 18 inches to 2 feet. After that, once you've gone through an area and did that really good, don't ever till it in any way ever again. Everything goes on top. And you'll have the most beautiful soil that way. As long as you keep adding on top once a year with compost or whatnot, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think so, because it's all broken up, like you're saying, and then you're adding in the other part. Yeah, I'm gonna, once I get online and plus the other thing is where I'm at and wanting to bring the chips, not just my schedule, but that's a part of it. But they don't want to come here because it's far away from a city. But by the same token, sometimes it's quicker to get here than going in the same city where they're at, because the traffic flow is different. But anyway, once I get online with somebody, I'm gonna get 1.5 to 2 feet chips.
Have you tried your power company?
No, I haven't tried them. That's a good idea. PG&E is huge. They might have them right there.
Well, a lot of times they have crews that go through an area and they cut down whatever is obscuring the lines. You find out who that company is and contact them. They'll dump it off at your house for free, as long as you have a space to dump it, because they got to pay to have it processed. Around here, that's Asplin. They're bright orange trucks. They say Asplin on the side, and whenever I see them, I'll just pull over. I'm coming in from work. I usually got a few extra drinks in my car. I'll hand that out to the guys, give them my address. They've beat me to my own house before.
Yeah, it's a good thing to help you out. Yeah.
It's $370 a load for them to dump it. They got to drive an hour and a half north of here to where it's actually approved to dump it.
Oh, so they're saving time and the company's saving money.
Yep. What the crews do is they dump it here, pretend they had nowhere else to dump it, that they took it up to the normal place, and they go to the bar for an hour.
I love it. Multiple good things come out of it. Multiple functions.
You can always tell when they've hit certain people's houses around here, because there'll be 2 or 3 Asplin trucks sitting up at the local bar.
That's hilarious. hey, if it works for you, it works for them. Heck with it.
When I was on the other side of the state, I just had to call the power company, and they brought it and dumped it themselves. They told the guys what to do.
I'm gonna have to look into that because out here it's called PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. They're huge. There's probably tons of that stuff. I just never thought of it.
Yeah, I guarantee you they have some type of service to get rid of it. If not a local crew like the way I'm getting it, like Florida Power and Electric, which is my local, but they're huge. When you get on the other side of the state, you can't ever catch those crews because the area is so vast.
Oh, okay.
So if you call the local power company, they'll actually bring out a load about 7 or 8 times the size of what the local trucks do.
Wow.
So you can get a semi-truck's worth of mulch dumped at your house for free. You just got to be ready to handle it all.
Yeah, because they're looking at saving thousands then to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So hey, go to that guy's house. You know?
My parents actually did their entire driveway at one house with that because the code required that the ground was improved. Didn't state how it had to be improved.
Yeah.
So the power company came out and they dumped 2 truckloads worth of mulch right where they wanted their driveway. They spread it out. County came out, looked at it, said, "You're approved." It was
Nice.
way cheaper than having gravel or any concrete poured.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Then once a year, they just called the power company and they brought out another load and dumped it.
Yeah, especially when they're willing to do it like that. Yeah, that's excellent. You just spread it and run it over a little bit, right? Pack
Yep. I run most of mine by wheelbarrow. The average load that's delivered here is 15 yards. Sometimes I get a little more.
That's a good rack there. I got space in the back where they could probably dump 15 yards.
As long as they can get the truck in there and not like be going over a ditch or anything like that, they're usually pretty good about it. They don't want to get their truck stuck because
Right, of course.
that'll cost more to have it pulled out than they would have saved.
Yeah. I'm sure if they get their truck stuck once, they're not coming back.
Depends on how well you like the person and how well you tip. I do have one friend that had it where they got stuck at his house and 2 other trucks came out and pulled him out. But he tipped them $80 a piece. And they just keep coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normally speaking, he tips them $20 to $40 a load. That way they can buy themselves some drinks or some beer or whatever.
Make them happy.
Yep.
I even tipped the guy. Look, I had AAA, okay, so I locked my keys in my truck at work. How stupid. I had set him on the seat. It was one of them days. I was a little foggy, right? So I set him on the seat. I locked the door nicely. Locked it. So the guy came out and he got this rod and all this. So finally, that wouldn't work. He had to bust out the Slim Jim, pop it open. I tipped him $20. He's like, "Oh, that'll be my lunch." Hey, good for you. He just saved me a bunch of drama. I don't care. It was already paid for through AAA.
That's the basic premise.
Yeah.
But moringa is not freeze tolerant. If you want to grow it up there, you're going to want to get some fresh seed and grow it indoors. Bring it out during the summer, bring it inside during the winter, because even the lightest frost can completely wipe out a moringa. Ron, you had any experience with moringa up there in California?
No. I think it's more tropical, right? So
it really is. I'm really at the upper border of where it can be grown. It can grow here. You can go a little further north, but what happens is every few years we get a freeze, and it'll kill it all the way down to the ground, then it comes back from the root.
See, we've got frost here. Sometimes it's more arid, but then it gets colder sometimes. And I'm not saying it freezes that much every single year. You know, it varies, but I think LA they could do it. I can't think of the name of the nursery. They were talking about they have moringa trees, and I think it's close to LA somewhere. So they're hotter, and maybe they don't get as cold in the winter. I'm not sure.
The
But yeah,
moringa
many
also
big
grows very
areas. But we have a lot of microclimates in the Bay Area too. It's not all just one climate. It's all kinds of different climates here.
We get that around here too because we got the water nearby.
I'm actually one of the cooler areas, and as you go like Martinez, Walnut Creek, San Ramon, it gets more inland. It gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And if you go like Berkeley and Oakland, it's really cool. So I mean, these are all any of these places you can get to if there's no traffic within an hour, right, of each other, and it just varies a lot.
Yeah, there's a pretty decent variation here. The outer barrier islands are 10A and 10B. When you come inland, about 6 miles, it's 10A. Then where I'm at, it's 9B. And then it's 9B throughout all of Central Florida. But say like here versus the Orlando area, Orlando gets hotter during summer and colder.
Yeah, it kind of runs that way, right? The more arid places get colder too.
Oh, one of the big problems with Orlando is all the concrete. It's a fairly large city, and there's a lot of concrete that just sits there during the summer and it holds that heat. But during the winter, they have the opposite effect, and it holds the cold.
Oh, I see. I never thought about holding the cold. That makes sense, though. Yeah, the heat island effect's supposed to have like 10, 15 degrees.
Oh, it definitely does over there. During the spring, it's common to be like 95 here, and it'll be 105 over there.
Wow. Yeah, see, I couldn't grow tomato in Oakland, but yet I can't hardly grow the redwood trees here. I got them in a pot there. It's not even protected. It just, all the heat it gets, no problem. They're looking wonderful. I'm scared to bring them over here and have them die. The heat's so much different. After I get some growing, it's going to change it a little bit, but it's going to take them to do it a little bit, right? So it's.
Well, they get bigger, they'll stabilize and be a little bit better suited, and you keep them in the shade because you know that you have the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
It's one of them.
a give or take.
I think I'll change around how I'm going to put the bamboo, maybe, because bamboo's like solid. You can't hardly kill it. I'm going to take some bamboo that I had planted years ago and take some cuttings and try to get it going again.
Yeah, bamboo's indestructible.
Timber bamboo, so-called clumping, but it's relative. They say with bamboo, it just doesn't run as far and as fast.
I found out while doing some research about bamboo that all bamboo that is in the state of Florida is quarantined to the state of Florida.
Wow.
I have no idea why.
Wow.
I can't find any information as to why. I don't know if it's a disease or I don't know. I can't find any actual explanation, just that all bamboo in the state of Florida is quarantined to the state of Florida. I'm not allowed to import it. I'm not allowed to export it.
Wow. You got to find a use for it. Start making something out of it.
Bamboo everywhere here.
Really? Somebody was saying that this thing of a squirrel being able to run from coast to coast, that wasn't all necessarily trees, that a lot of it was actually bamboo. I don't know where I came across that one day in the last couple of weeks.
I do remember running across something like that where they said they could run from the Mississippi River all the way to the Atlantic without ever touching, just through the boreal forest that used to be there.
Yeah, supposedly like pre-contact pre-European contact or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought they said like from coast to coast or something, but theoretically, but this guy said that I don't know if he said 30-40% of that was bamboo. It wasn't regular trees so much. So how true is that? I figured he was right.
I don't know.
Probably, but I was just like, wow. Even if it was 2%, it was a lot of bamboo. Yeah. I like it. I had a spot that I just wanted to put it, and it was timber bamboo, and I was like, oh, I'll grow it, be able to make something with it. And the thing is, what people don't think about, how many clumps of that stuff do you need to build anything with it, and how soon, and all that, right? So I never had done anything with it, but it does have a nice effect. And
Depends on what you're building. I've got 3-4 clumps here. They're not terribly large clumps, but if I need a trellis, it's there and I can use it. One of my neighbors cut down several pieces and split it and made himself blinds for his living room.
Oh, cool.
Took him like 3 months to split it all, dry it, drill all the holes, run the string, but they're really nice.
I bet. And you know what? That's just something to be able to say too. Like, hey, I made these myself. Who can say that?
Right?
I
don't think I would have spent that much time for a set of blinds for my living room, but
I don't think I'd have the patience. For me, honestly, I'd have had the patience to pay somebody to do it, maybe. But it's about like, what? I'm not done. It's been a week already. I might just can the project.
Yeah, that's one of them ones. I don't think I could spend my every moment after work just making one set of bamboo blinds by hand.
That's a focused individual right there.
Yeah, but they really are nice. I mean, he's got them all, sanded them all down. They're all exactly the same size, and they're all stained.
Well, and you know what? You want to make it real nice if it's for your own thing anyway. So he probably just said, well, step at a time. Do it really nice. I just don't know if I'd have the patience to keep it up that long. Just like,
yeah, I don't have that kind of patience.
Well, maybe doing it once, maybe then you'll have the patience. I don't know.
I've got a lot of patience, but I don't think I got that kind of patience. I just get bored.
Yeah, I've been known to not complete projects, so the completion thing is overrated.
I learned over the years to make sure that whatever it is I want to do, I can do it in a timely manner. That way I don't get stuck with something just sitting around, never being able to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
In other words, if it takes more than 6 hours to do it,
It's not getting
that's
done.
about it.
That's good though. But and that's part of the whole thing. You got to know your own temperament and what you can handle. Don't try to go too far off of that and just end up with a mess.
When I was younger, I'd do a lot of projects. I'd get about halfway, 3/4 of the way through, get bored. It'd sit there for a year or two, and then I'd be, oh, I guess I should finish this.
I don't think I got that far into anything, but I remember starting things and somehow I'd run into some difficulty, and that was kind of it. It was like either I couldn't afford or I couldn't find the object I needed to continue. Just I hit the wall, And
Harder and harder to find things.
Ever, but still, it's like I couldn't make them. I might be able to make the blinds if I just said I'm just doing this for a project and just totally had somebody lay it out on some kind of a spreadsheet or something like here. Today I do this.
Well, he had the thing blueprinted out, knowing exactly how many he needed, where he needed to cut, where he needed to put a hole, where he needed to tie a knot on a string. He knew all of it before he even started.
Wow, he's got an engineering mind.
I used to be a machinist.
There you go. That lends to it. Or maybe that lent to him being a machinist.
I don't know. I didn't know him when he was younger, but when he builds stuff like that, he's totally focused. That's the only thing he does.
Wow, I bet.
So what do you got?
Hey, well, I'm drilling all these pieces for my blinds. There are people that work for like, still?
Yeah, right.
They're
What
probably
are you doing?
give them addresses of places to get them where you can buy them.
Yeah, there's a really nice place about 25 minutes from here where you can buy those pre-made. Kind of expensive though.
Yeah, I can't foresee me having that kind of patience. Drill every single part. It'd be a worthwhile lifetime thing to see if I could do something like that, but it'd probably be once. Once it was done, if there was something wrong and I had to take it back apart, forget it. It'd probably go in the dumpster or the compost pile.
I stick to my long-term projects being something that I can go outside 15 to 20 minutes, do something, and then just wait until the next thing comes along that I need to be able to put in there the next opportunity.
Yeah.
That's how my food forest is being built.
Mm-hmm.
I acquire 2 or 3 plants when I get a chance. It takes 5 to 15 minutes to get them in the ground, go out, get it done, move on.
Maybe I'm more like that. I haven't really thought about how long things take in that way, but I do a little flurry of activity doing projects. I figured out in the last couple of years that if I just do 5 hours of doing things, I can get a lot done. So I only did 5, 6 hours. I'm good. That's my day. A day that I'm not at work, basically. But 5 hours, I could do all kinds of shit. But by then, I'm kind of bored. It's like, I've done all this stuff. Good enough. But I'm happy with that.
It gets so hot here during the summer and the humidity's so high, so the heat's different, that it kind of breaks you going outside for like 5 hours during the summer. You got 15 to 20 minutes, half an hour max.
Oh, I see. Yeah, something about that tropical heat, like in Hawaii, you get kind of beat down.
Yeah, it beats you down real quick. And even when I used to work in that all day, I'd come home after doing 8 hours in there and just crash.
I bet.
So,
Yeah.
that tore me down.
And then you get out there, before it beats you down too hard, you do something, come back in. You go do another one after a while.
Yep, you can get 2 or 3, maybe 4 things done during the day. You come inside, you cool down, you get other things done that you need to do inside.
Makes sense. You got to manage your time wisely.
If I tried to go outside and just try to do everything I need to do all at once, no, I'll be in the hospital.
Yeah, no point in doing that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because you know what? I remember like a couple of years ago, I was thinking of being vegan. And I always laugh when I tell this story, but I went to Hawaii and then I got a hamburger. The feeling is different because it's that heat and humidity, and I needed more than just vegetables.
Yeah.
I felt like I did, at least, I was like, and they have a place called Village Burger. Oh, gluten-free bun and everything. It was like $17. Oh, it's the best money I ever spent. It's a Wagyu beef, so it's more or less Kobe, but they can't call it Kobe beef. It's like, that thing was smoking good. I came back to, I think it was like a hour drive from where I got it, and I wished I'd have brought 3 more with me. It was so good. I was like, oh man. And like I say, in that climate and everything, it's climate correct. Beef in that kind of a climate, you need that extra oomph. I feel like you do anyway.
There's no way I could be a vegan.
And working. I was on vacation, but nonetheless, I mean, I get it that sometimes you need that. I feel like you do. So.
Now, I kind of grew up eating meat. If I try to quit eating meat, my body reacts. I've done it. And it's not a good reaction. So,
I've been kind of a low meat thing for years just because I don't like cooking meat all the time. It's part of it. And I get it. Yeah, some people are more into meat, and that's okay.
I grow plenty of stuff, and I don't really have anything that I'm producing meat with. So that's something that at some point I'd like to really address in my systems. But as it is now, that I really don't have the space. You know, I could probably do rabbits, but I have 4 girls, 4 daughters.
Oh, okay.
Anything that's fluffy, they name.
Yeah, you can have a hard time eating Billy the Rabbit, right?
Yeah. They name everything.
That's the thing. I was thinking at some point I'd like to get up to where I have like chickens, but I have to trade them to somebody that gives me the meat back. Because pretty soon they're going to be like my little buddy chasing me around. I'm not going to want to eat that thing, you know.
So that's something that actually wouldn't bother me. It just bother everybody else around me, and I don't want them upset with me because I, whacked their buddy.
Makes sense. You got to keep peace in the house.
I think right now, let's see, we've got 6 pigeons, 4 rats, 5 guinea pigs, a turtle, a hedgehog, 3 cats, a dog, and I'm probably missing a few things there.
Full complement of family animals.
Not allowed to eat one.
You're sitting there like, damn it, I can't even eat another.
Guinea pigs were originally domesticated for food, so I don't think that's right.
Oh, is that what they actually? I know people don't want them testing on them anymore because they're using them as guinea pigs.
Yeah, right. Guinea pigs were originally domesticated as a food source in South America and Central America.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. We went to an animal shelter when I was in grade school, and they tried to convince us that we needed guinea pigs. They were down. Even though my dad said we're not having no whatever, no, I still kind of told, I'm going to tell my parents to. I told my parents, and they told me back the opposite again. Like, we're not getting that. If you promised, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
That and no rodents. I don't care if you call it a hamster, whatever. To my dad, it was a rat or a mouse. Hey, no rodents in the house. You didn't have no hamster, nothing like that.
Well, let's see. The rats that we presently have are compliments of working on a client's house. I was tearing down her shed, and under a board was 6 baby rats. And I had to remove them. She didn't want the rats left at her house, so I ended up scooping them up and putting them in a box.
Right.
Well, they weren't really big enough to fend for themselves, so I couldn't just pull over and dump them on the side of the road. That's not right.
Right.
So I brought them home, and my girls adopted 6 wild rats. So 6 wild rats and a $150 cage later, and now we got 6 rats. I only made $100 on the job.
Oh, no. You went in the hole to adopt rats.
Oh.
Oh,
But it's a pretty nice cage, and rats only live about 6 years, so.
That's a classic good dad story, though.
Yeah, well, what else am I going to do with them? Just pull over on the side of the road and chuck babies out? Yeah, no.
Oh, wow, that's neat. But yeah, lost money on it. Wow, that's bad. doing good. I had a neighbor who had a big snake, so he was raising white rats, to feed the snake. And anyway, he had them in an aquarium in his garage, and he had a piece of plywood on top. Well, he kept seeing my cat laying on top of that plywood, probably licking his chops. Like, can't wait for one of these dudes to get out. It never did, as far as I know, but I'm sure he's staring at him once in a while, like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
It looks good.
It gets pretty expensive to feed snakes nowadays. I was in a pet store and the feeder mice, you used to get 5-10 feeder mice for $1. Like $5-6 for a feeder mouse now. For one.
Yeah, I don't know what these cost back then. That was probably 10 years ago. But he figured it was cheaper just to raise them than to buy them.
Definitely a lot cheaper now. Oh, my Lord, it's expensive.
Wow. And I never had a reptile. I didn't know people bought them to feed them to it. I had no idea.
Never bought any of the reptiles I have. All just kind of wandered into our presence. I've got a couple of iguanas. They're here in Florida.
Yeah, I hear there's all kind of different kinds of invasive iguanas and stuff there.
The best way to catch an iguana is wait until the coldest day of the year, go walk around under the trees and find the ones that fell out of the tree. Just stick them in the bag. They're way too cold to run around. They ain't going to protest anything. You just pick them up, stick them in the bag.
I saw a thing where a guy gets them, and I guess there's some reward from the state or something, and he shoots them with a pellet gun.
Yep.
And
they're
then
down in South Florida.
He was cooking parts of some of them. I'm not sure whether the legs or something.
Iguana's pretty good. It's somewhat similar to chicken, but you can tell it's not a bird; it's a reptile. The Jamaican population around here likes to cook them up with a jerk sauce, and that's really, really good.
Oh, really? Huh. Things you learn. I had no idea. Of course, I'm not in your area, but wow. I saw a thing. I probably told you this on one of my other streams. I saw a show. I think it was sponsored by the History Channel. These 4 guys were in Florida catching snakes 20 hours, and I think they made like $8,600 or something catching snakes.
You can do it down in South Florida by the Everglades. There's an area west of Miami that was originally going to be developed, and the state stopped the development, but all the roads are still there. So you can go down there and you can ride around on those roads with snake hook in a bag and jump out and grab them when you see them, stick them in the bag.
These guys were like out in the swamp, so I don't know. Maybe it wasn't far from there, but
it's this area between the Everglades and Miami. It's all technically part of the Everglades National Park, but it never really got any proper restoration. So the whole area had been raised up because otherwise it would have flooded for the housing. And it's drained off by a set of canals that were put in by the Army Corps engineers. But it's still got all the roads and other infrastructure that was originally put there in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, okay.
So you can just ride around over there and snatch them up. They're not really easy to find once you actually get into the Everglades itself. I mean, you can find them, but it's much easier in those along the edge areas. And you can make good money doing it, but it's only like a 2-week period that the state runs that.
Oh, okay. So that's why it's not like people trying to hang out and do it all year long. Okay, Tutu, good night. Huh.
Yeah, they put the bounty out, but it's only good for 2 weeks. They do it every year.
Oh,
The
okay.
rest of the year, you can catch them if you want. They're an invasive species, so there's no hunting laws on them. You can pretty much do whatever you want with them.
But it's more about it's more economically good doing it during that time. Okay.
Well, during their season, not only will they pay you by the foot for the snake, but the person that gets the biggest snake wins a grand prize.
Oh, wow.
So, and the grand prize is kind of varied from year to year since they started doing it. Last year, I think it was $80,000 if you caught the biggest snake.
Holy moly.
It's kind of their way of trying to get people to come down there and handle it.
Yes,
It's not really handling it. They're spreading rather fast. That particular area ties into a river system called the Kissimmee River System.
Uh-huh.
Kissimmee River System is the second largest river system in the state of Florida. Once they make it up to my area, there is only a 10-mile gap between the Kissimmee River System and the St. Johns River System. St. Johns River System is the biggest and continues north in Florida. So as they move up those watersheds, it's just going to come up in the Kissimmee, cross over into St. John's, and keep going right on up to Georgia.
Really? So you say they're just scratching the surface with this?
Yeah.
Well, that's a shame. Because I hear them things just eat everything.
They don't really have much for natural predators once they get large.
Uh-huh.
And that's the problem. The smaller snakes, they get picked off like any other snake in Florida, and we got a lot of snakes here.
All right.
But once you start talking about a 15-footer, only things we really have here that could go after a 15-footer would be an alligator, the saltwater Florida crocodile, or possibly a puma, but they're already their numbers are really far down, or us.
So they need to find a way to pay people more often to catch them, huh? Sounds like.
Well, that's what they're trying to do with this open season for 2 months. Because legally speaking, there is no season. It's an invasive species. You can do whatever you want. So they're trying to encourage people to do that. They're also trying to encourage people to be able to take the skins and be able to make boots and belts and stuff like that because it's fairly high dollar.
Right. I'm sure.
The bad thing is they're going to create an industry.
Right.
Then people become, dependent on that industry.
Yeah, then it goes a little bit the opposite, right? Because they don't
Yep.
want to help to get wiped out because they're used to that money.
That's right. So there's a fine line there. They are basically in the process of creating an industry based off of the skins of these snakes. And it's going to be like how it used to be with the alligators here. They have that industry, and they're really not going to want that population to be completely decimated.
Yeah. So if they can keep it to, if they have a measurement where they go, hey, it can all, you can have about this many. In other words, if they improve the situation, maybe it'll still make it a little better.
They'll end up regulating it like you do any other form of hunting here in Florida. Basically, we have a 3-month deer season here, but the first 2 weeks are postseason. Then they have a week off, and then 2 weeks for black powder, and then they have a week off, and then they have a 6-week general gun season, and then they close it, and you pay for the privilege to be able to hunt the deer. Don't waste your money trying to pay to hunt deer in Florida. The population has not been very large for 3 decades, You're going to spend $150, not including equipment, just in licenses for it. And if you see a deer, chances are it's not going to be one that you can legally shoot.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to become the same way with those as it does with everything else here. They regulate the fish, they regulate the animals. Legally speaking, a deer, even if it's on your own property and you caught it, you raised it, put money in it, and took care of it, it's not your deer. It's property of the state.
Oh,
And that's the same with fish, rabbits, squirrels, all wildlife in the state of Florida, legally speaking, is the property of the state.
wow. See you later, bud, by the way. Wow, I didn't know that. I wonder if it's like that here. I don't know.
What I understand, California is extremely heavily regulated on their hunting regulations.
Yeah. And, everything is getting, as there's more people, I hear everything is just getting crazy as far as hunting. Like even the invasive things, you have to get a special permit. A guy at work a few years ago was telling me he did a special permit to hunt. I think it was to hunt the turkeys on somebody's property. And it might have been the pig too, or maybe he was talking about, I can't remember, but I remember that talking about the pig and the turkey are running wild here and there's nobody hardly hunting them. And he would
Turkey, you've got to get special permits nationwide. It's actually protected by multiple treaties. Pig is considered evasive here because it was originally introduced by the Spanish. It's not native here.
Yeah, it's
So
here for sure.
if you're on public land, you can shoot it year round. If you're on private land, I'm doing this backwards. If you're on public land, you got to abide by the area rules. If you're on private land, while it is on your property, it's considered your pig. So you can do whatever you want with it as long as it's on your property.
Huh.
And that's
Interesting. All the states have a little bit. Damn, I think I lost it. And I think they have a lot of different regulations.
there are so many regulations, it's not even funny. Before I do anything, every year I sit down and completely reread the regulation handbook. That's about this thick.
Wow.
Every year. They change little things every year, and every 10 years they do a complete rewrite.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this guy had to get like a permit or like an exemption to something, override, like they didn't need a hunting license or something to hunt them on somebody's property, which I would think if it's invasive and they know. I mean, at one point I saw a show where it was the wild pig were in every county but 2 in California and tearing things up. That's why the oak woodlands won't regenerate, because they're eating all the little ones and the seedlings and everything. They're rooting them up. The acorns.
Pigs have gotten really bad here as well. There's something like 3.5 million pigs in the state of Florida.
Man.
So you get out into these natural areas and you can, it's easy to find them. All you got to do is look and see where they tore up the ground. Find the newest patch of it and go sit somewhere where they can't see you or smell you. They'll be there around sunset.
Wow.
They pick up right where they left off the night before.
I was saying a few years ago at one of these permaculture events, they call like a convergence gathering, right? So I said, look, there's all these homeless, there's all these invasive pigs and turkeys and stuff. That's the place where you could make some good. Who's ever competent and able and willing, train them to hunt these things.
There's a lot of people around here that hunt them.
People looked at me like I was from outer space. I'm like, well, look, there's pigs that are running wild, tearing things up, and there's people over here that are starving. That's a food source. But anyway, it didn't gel with anybody. They looked at me like I was a space alien.
A lot of people don't get it. They don't comprehend the fact that, it's pork.
Yeah, I mean, And if it's making things worse for it to be here, let people eat the heck out of it.
They caught a 350-pound pig 2 blocks from my house about
Wow.
3 years ago. Now, when they get that big, they're very destructive.
I bet. You don't want to encounter that either.
No, you don't. That was caught right in a neighborhood in somebody's backyard. They called in a specialist because this pig was coming in at night and just destroying a neighborhood. Could you imagine having a 5 or 6-year-old kid and going outside in the morning and go to the bus stop, and that's what's at the bus stop?
Oh no, that's scary. Yeah, that's scary. With little kid coming out. Yeah, like you say. Yeah.
For the most part, they've overregulated the wrong things.
That's the trouble. That's what government does. For some reason, it tends to go that way, and I don't know what that reason is, but
Money. So at this point, this particular area here in Florida, they have everything so regulated that it's pretty much illegal to do business without a stack full of what they're calling licenses, but it's actually taxes because they're not licensing you to do anything. They're not confirming you know how to do anything. It's just a tax.
sure, just a way to get money out of you.
Yep.
I'm at the point where everything's so expensive out here. I don't think I'll vote for another tax. I don't think I'll vote to support one more tax. In Alameda County, it's 10% sales tax now. It's like 10 and a quarter.
Wow.
Contra Costa, where I'm at here at my house, I think it's 9.75%. That's ridiculous.
Our base tax is 7%.
People and everything. Now you can't afford to pay for everything, so you're charging us more.
Yep. So our base sales tax here is 7%. Depending on where you are in the state, that changes. Where I live, it's 7.5%. I go 5 miles north, it's 8.5%. I go over to Orlando, it's 8.5%. You go down to the Keys, it's 27%.
Holy moly! Don't
You-
find nothing there.
It's a tourist tax. Even if you live there, you're still paying it. They tack it on to everybody.
Oh my!
Since there's so many people that go down there, and oh man, don't stay at a hotel. The tax on a hotel down in the Florida Keys will kill you.
Oh, it's wow.
Well, Ron, it is almost 1:30 in the morning here.
Well, it's pretty late here too. 10:30 almost. So sounds like you're getting ready to cut.
I think I'm gonna get me a drink and then go fall down.
All right, have a good one, Glenn. Thanks for coming on. It's been
Thanks for
fun.
having me, Ron.
I think I learned a lot. At least I think I learned it. I don't know, but
Hey, you know how to get a hold of me if you got questions.
sure. I don't know if I'll be going to Florida anytime soon, but if I ever head over there,
Let me know. You're always welcome to swing by here.
sure.
It's not like I'm going to get over to California anytime soon. I don't travel.
Yeah, you got to travel to be able to do that.
Other responsibilities.
Yeah, I hear you. With all you got going on, now that I have more insight, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't be traveling either.
It's taking care of the kids. That's mostly what it is.
Yeah, I mean that's heavy duty. Hey, I'm one of 6, and just I realize now how much my parents had to go through to raise us. Wow.
It's not easy, but it's got to be done. Nobody else is going to do it, right?
Exactly. If you want it done right, you do it yourself, right?
That's right. Well, Ron, you have a good night.
All right, thanks, Glenn. Thanks for coming by, and you gave me some insights, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.
All right, so let's see. Who else did I lose? Anybody? Sean Williams in the house. I don't know if I said hi or not, Sean. Thanks for coming by if I didn't already. And there's one person, I don't know, that might be me. Anyway, I didn't intend to go this long. This is a spur of the moment live stream, but I did, and it's been interesting. It was actually fun, and it's 3 hours. It's my longest live stream in a long, long time, and I'm going to shut her down. Thanks everybody for coming and giving support, making interesting conversation. See y'all next time. Bye.